My brother-in-law just told my wife that he is in love with her.
Love wins.
Apparently it does. This comes from Anxious Breath 1596, who says, anyway, yesterday my brother-in-law out of the blue asks my wife if she can meet him for lunch. Let's just say salad isn't the only thing he's going to be eating.
Her.
Awesome.
Thanks, Sam.
You're welcome. Just connecting the dots for everyone.
There's something that he needs to talk to her about. My wife tells me about it before accepting and asks if it might have something to do with my sister. Maybe they are having problems and he wants to discuss with another woman. I find it odd, but I tell her to go and find out. And so to be clear, I'm double checking myself here. There's OP and OP's brother-in-law who is married to his sister.
Yep. And the brother-in-law is confronting OP's wife about something at a lunch that we don't know about.
We're not sure.
Do we though? I mean,
she accepts and they meet for lunch at a place near her office the next day. That's where he tells her that he is in love with her. Aww.
How did they get close enough for him to be in love?
Maybe he's just crazy.
Crazy in love.
Ooh. We've seen crazy people.
We've seen crazy people. They could just be crazy. You know,
yeah.
There are people that are in love with people they've never met.
This might support it.
The Swifties.
Get your hands off me! No! Oh, God! True. That is true. They do love her. They do love her. But he lays it on thick. How beautiful she is, how she makes him feel, how he would treat her if she were his, how it was love at first sight, blah, blah, blah. Mind you, the man is married to my sister and has 2 kids.
That's crazy.
Also, the brother-in-law is like double offending OP. You try to steal my wife and you try to cheat on my sister. Bro.
Man is risking it all.
Time to throw it down. My
God. Love. How romantic.
He and my wife had a friendly relationship. Our families see each other often as we are a close family. He does text her frequently, but there was nothing overly sexual.
Is there anything underly sexual?
Like, your sweet potato mash was to die for.
I want to mash your sweet potato.
Oh God, those yams. My brother-in-law texts and calls my mom too, so none of us thought anything of it. He was basically texting everyone the same. I want to stop for a moment and emphasize that my wife is not cheating on me with him. My wife and I share an iPad and I see every one of her texts from there. We are also looking at each other's phones all the time, so none of that is going on. So she doesn't let him finish. Walks out and calls me immediately to tell me what happened. While she is on the phone with me, the texts from him start. He didn't mean it. He thinks it's only infatuation, blah, blah, blah.
It went on and on and on.
That's just because it didn't work.
Yeah, you put it all on the line and you get struck out. Big boy. Also, I got to say, props to OP's wife for directly after hearing this going to the partner.
Well, and she also like informed him like from day one. She was like, look at these weird, why does he want to meet with me? What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. Like the over the top community. I don't know if it's over the top, but like the communicating before it's a problem. Great idea.
Brilliant. Perfectly executed. She leaves work early to come home and talk to me about this, and her phone is blowing up the entire time with calls and texts from him. I tell her to answer, and she put me on speaker so I can hear. He's crying, begging not to tell my sister. Begging.
On my knees.
Apparently, when we were together this past weekend, he thought that she was flirting with him, and he thought they had a moment when they were alone in our kitchen. Now, my wife is a major ball buster, and I suppose I can see how it can be taken as flirting. So she's razzing him, you know, whatever else.
Right.
And he's like, oh, she's into me.
Yeah.
But
the classic, oh, she's talking to me? Must be into me.
she's in love with me. He asks if she told me, to which I answer yes as I'm on the speaker. So he's like, hey, did you tell my brother? And he's like,
yep.
Yes, she
I'm
did.
hearing every single word of this.
Boom. Then he starts begging me. This went on for a while.
Begging, to not say anything to his sister.
Dude. Dude.
Well, like, why does he have loyalty to you?
Exactly.
The guy that tried to steal his wife and tried to cheat on his sister.
Bro, literally, he is wronged OP the most, and he's now begging him to like have mercy.
Knees.
Get ready for the hammer, baby.
You'll pay.
My main question was whether he had cheated on my sister before. That is a good question.
Because if he's putting it all on the line for someone that he knows could get him in trouble, did he throw out his line for someone he knew would keep it quiet?
probably right.
Yeah, like an easier, an easier thing. He said no and swore on his kids' lives. It's just my wife. He said I should understand.
He was actually thinking about his other family's kids' lives that he doesn't talk to.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the secret family.
My practice family's
I swear on the
kids.
practice family.
Sam's golden rules.
Sam's golden rules.
Yes, sir. So I'm done listening at that point and told him that I wasn't going to do anything tonight and I would call him tomorrow. Let's put on our conspiracy theory, Hasley.
Ooh.
What do we think OP is going to do? Is he going to out his brother-in-law?
For sure.
Yeah.
There is not. Well, because I mean, I would be very surprised if he didn't, because if I was if
you were in this situation,
some dude
yep,
was cheating on my sister with my girlfriend and or wife, I am in a heartbeat ratting that dude out.
Dude.
Heartbeat. Not even a thought in my mind.
No doubt, no doubt.
Coming with a ferocious velocity.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm sending it in the family group chat.
Yeah.
Bam.
Putting him on blast.
Dude, your career's over.
Do you think he, deeper in the conspiracy theory plot, do you think he keeps pushing and tries to push the sister to divorce? Like,
no.
Or does he just say?
I would just, the information.
him, not you. Him.
Oh, does
OP. Do you think
does OP push?
Does he basically go to his sister, not only reveal the truth, but keep on her until she divorces
So does
him?
OP try to push for divorce? I don't
Yes.
think so.
Yeah?
I don't think
honestly,
so.
I could see that.
I don't think so. I mean, because what I would do is I would just say, here's the information. Do with it what you will. You know what's best for your family.
That's what you would do.
What would OP do?
But OP,
I'm going to say OP's like me.
he might be going crazy. Let's get back to reality and find out. That's where we are right now, and I really don't know what to do. My wife says drive over there right now and tell my sister, but the idea of wrecking my sister's family is killing me. All right, maybe Sam is right. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Think about what it will do to my nieces. It just makes me want to vomit. I know the right thing to do is to tell my sister, but I'm also thinking about my wife as well. It's not her fault, but there is sure to be resentment toward her family. Even if my sister didn't divorce him and they reconcile, I can't see how we are ever together again like we were before, if at all. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, this is still his nieces and nephew's father.
Yeah.
He'll be involved
but
no matter
the
what.
nieces and nephews don't have to know this. Like, why would they have to know? They don't have to know.
They're gonna know.
I
How
think
old are
it's
they?
on the parents to tell the nieces and nephews. Really, the only people that should be informed of what OP knows is the sister.
Is the sister.
Is the sister. That's the only person that needs to know. And then once that person knows, that person can choose to do with that information as they will.
That is correct. But this whole episode can tear my family apart. I don't give a crap about him. He tried to destroy my family, but I do care about everyone else. I do not know what to do. Any advice would help. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a big, fat, juicy update coming up next. But revisiting what we said a minute ago, you're still in the same mindset of like, tell the sister.
My mind has not changed since 60 seconds ago.
Yeah.
I am still about telling the sister. She is the person that needs to know.
And yeah, no one else in the family.
No, because then at that point you're
Tell the
gossiping.
sister and
at
leave
that
it at
point you're
that.
gossiping. The only person that needs to know and can effectively do something in this situation is the sister.
Are you gossiping if it's the truth?
Yes. Most gossip is the truth, just shared with people that don't benefit or hurt
And
from it.
if it is a lie, there's still some truth in it.
There's an old Russian saying, within every lie, there's a little bit of a lie,
What? I thought it was a little bit of the truth.
which is if there's two lies, is that the truth? Is there a lie about the lie? If you're lying about lying, are you telling the truth?
You're just double lying.
If you're lying about lying, you're telling the truth.
Does like two murderers equal no murderers in that case? That's what that feels like.
That's
Yeah.
not at all what that is.
That's 100% what it is.
Okay.
Because
Hey, John,
Yeah.
I'm lying to you right now. Your hair is
no,
blonde.
that's incorrect.
I'm lying to you right now. Your hair is
Lying
blonde.
about lying is like,
I just lied initially, but I told the
Yep.
truth.
no,
Dude, you're just crazy. That's what it
you're
is.
just crazy.
Okay,
You're just crazy.
I actually don't even know if that's the Russian saying. Oh no, sorry. In every joke, there's a little bit of a joke, basically saying like there's truth at the core of every joke.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
I just said that.
Yeah, that's
I like
what I've
when the
always heard
Russians
it
say
as.
it.
Anyways, screw these Russians. Okay, we got real family members here to deal with.
Give me 1 second.
Riley's cooking over there. We don't know what he's cooking on though. It's gonna be a surprise.
You know what I like
What do you like?
Wait. Fuck.
Big
I gotta
butts,
get.
I cannot lie.
These other brothers can't deny.
Okay.
The girl
You know
walks
what
up.
I like Russians saying?
What?
Get on with it.
Good job. All right.
Let's get
into
back
this
to
update.
reality.
So, on to the update. Everyone that told me last night that I couldn't wait to tell my sister was right. A little after 12 last night, I got a call from my sister and says that she has to tell me that my wife tried to begin an affair with her husband.
Messy, messy,
Oh,
messy.
the classic reverse.
The classic reverse Uno. Bam.
Oh, yeah, you know, he's playing a good game. He's playing a good game. You know, his time is up, and so he's just trying to extend his time.
He's fighting and clawing his way out.
He's playing a game.
So he tried to pin it on her. I told her that's not the case and I will be right over. So I get on the phone, wake my mother and father and tell them what's going on. Wake my younger brother and tell him. So now that they're
the whole
coming for
family is
you,
getting
That's
involved.
perfect.
you got to like, yo, tip off everybody. Hey, everyone, get on my side. Now our armada is going to come
Yeah,
in
because I feel
and
like
invade.
in these family matters, whoever hears news first believes it first,
Yeah.
and you have to
That's-
beat
Well,
it.
there's
That's
this
true.
thing where it's like the lies travel 10 times as quickly as the truth, and so like you need to make sure the truth gets out
You get
more
on it
quickly than
ASAP.
the lie.
Yeah, 100%. My mom and dad head to my sister's to sit with their kids, and my brother comes to our house to sit with ours and my wife, and I head over. My sister is out on the front porch with my brother-in-law when we get there. He looks beaten. He knows we have texts and voicemail, bro. Bro is cooked. He's
Yeah.
absolutely cooked.
Dude,
This-
he's wrecked.
This idiot, he's like,
He's digging his own grave. I mean, he's already like absolutely effed.
You're finished.
but it's so crazy because once the wife then finds out that he said that lie to get out of it and try to frame Opie's wife, who is totally innocent,
Yeah.
she's going to be even more furious.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he was trying to do a Hail Mary.
Yeah, absolute
Trying to do a Hail Mary.
Hail Mary here. I really don't know what he was hoping to accomplish. Neither do I.
I actually think I have an idea of what he was hoping to accomplish that we have seen before. If he felt like he had like his wife under his thumb, he could basically say, isolate from all of your family. Don't listen to what they have to say. But he obviously doesn't.
And it's tragic.
But that does happen.
And that
Yeah.
does happen. We have seen it. My wife gives my sister her phone. She sees the texts, listens to the voicemails, and starts sobbing before she can say anything. My brother-in-law is a firefighter, a big tough guy, so this is a scene. My sister is pretty tough. She tells him to stop it, pack a bag, and go.
Badass.
Cold.
Badass.
Respect.
She can't stand to look at him. There's more begging, but she has no patience for it. So my sister walks off to talk with my wife. I see them hugging, so at least I feel like they are okay. They have actually been friends since college. I met my wife through my sister, so she was friends with the sister first.
Sophia, get up your game. Where's my wife?
What have you been doing?
Sophia,
Where's your hot guy friends for her to date?
I am literally bringing hot guys to this house at all hours of the day. Sophia just has very particular tastes.
Very particular taste.
This is
Very
true.
particular
So
tastes.
Hot.
find
So find them.
find some meals to acquiesce to her palate.
Good idea.
There you go. So, okay. I'm not even gonna try to.
That's my
save myself.
sister.
It was no, I'm not even going there. They are tight, my sister and my wife. Damn it. Okay. Anyways, we're really getting back.
How
now
does
we're
he
really getting
know?
Whoa. Oof. I'm dropping it now. I'm throwing down the hammer. All right. The thought of this wrecking her friendship has been weighing on me. This leaves me with my brother-in-law. He's broken, so I feel more sympathy than anger. God, stop laughing.
Just stop!
He feels that he's sorry. He just couldn't help it. It's not hard to fall in love with my wife, so I get it, but dang, man.
Kind of cute.
That's cute. That's cute. That's cute.
He eventually picks himself up and leaves. So we are there all night. My sister starts asking my wife why her husband would think any of this would work out. He had to have some reason to believe that she felt the same way. My sister says that they haven't been having problems. Everything was as it had always been. My wife is crying at this point and says there's nothing you haven't seen. She gives my sister her phone again, and they read every text ever sent over the past 2 years. Nothing there. My wife was just herself. She has a playful personality, and so does my brother-in-law, so they tease each other. She does the same to my mom and younger brother as well. The only thing she could think of was that moment in the kitchen this past weekend that he referenced. So what exactly? We didn't hear the exact rundown.
Yeah. Was there something where he's like, "That's a sign, bro.
That's a sign.
That's a sign." And he talks to his firefighter buddies while they're getting hot and greased up, sliding down that pole.
Baby oil.
Yeah.
Sliding like.
She wants you, bro.
Well, they both went to the fridge at the same time.
And then their hands touched as they were going into the fridge.
And they playfully jostled for who would get there first. Oh, not you.
Not you.
Get out of my way. He let her win, but he reaches around her waist to get a beer slowly. And she did feel the way he did it was a little inappropriate. So he's kind of like,
yeah. Feeling that waist. Yeah, kind of like a weird move, man.
Yeah, that's like
think the classic. Oh, let me touch your waist to move you over here.
He was just being nice.
Yeah, you're mini golf. Like, oh no, here's the right position, babe.
It's good.
On a date with someone you're
creepy.
Yeah.
Especially if it's your frickin' what your
brother's wife.
Your brother-in-law's wife.
No,
your
your brother's-
sister-in-law.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, your sister-in-law.
Yeah.
It's your sister-in-law.
Yeah, it's your sister-in-law. Come on, bro. She says she should have called him out on it, but she didn't want to make it a big thing, which honestly I understand.
Understand.
Because like sometimes
things happen. Blah, blah,
Could have been an accident.
Yeah,
you don't know.
Banana slip.
Yeah.
The classic. She feels maybe the fact that she didn't give him hope. My sister doesn't blame her, so at least that's good.
But that is the
Level-headed.
craziest. Like that one instance is what
You brush
set him
someone's
off.
waist with your hand.
The
and
power of a snatched waist. I
you
guess.
playfully jostle for a fridge. My God. So then my sister starts going through his MacBook to see what else she doesn't know about. She's angry and frantic at this point. She guesses the password. Wow. Not in.
Wait.
Yes.
Deleted text.
Deleted text. We haven't looked at those yet.
Deleted text. And on this computer, are we going to see deleted text that incriminate the wife?
Plot twist.
We could be.
I don't think so, though. But for the purposes of the conspiracy, yes.
I think something's going to happen. She guesses the password, starts searching, and finds a lot of pictures of my wife on that computer. They went back years and always isolated on just her. We had gone as couples to the Caribbean a few years earlier. She wore a bikini. She usually doesn't, but since it was adults only, she did. There were probably 50 pictures of her in that bathing suit in this photo album.
Whoa. Okay, stalker.
Yeah, like getting
Yeah. So
massively insanely
he basically
creepy.
built this up all in
For
his head for years.
So he's been secretly snapping these for years. Does this now enter?
Oh, he snapped them. I thought it was like a post on
Group
Facebook.
photos?
He snapped them secretly.
He secretly took the pictures.
Oh, that's
I didn't realize
so
that
much
either.
worse.
Right?
Creepy.
Does this now enter restraining order territory? This has taken a creepy turn. I will update when I have more. We have some relevant comments to dive into, but let's answer that question. Should
he's
he get
obsessed. He's obsessed.
Yeah.
He's obsessed.
Yeah, he's clearly by what he confessed, and that small of an in for him to literally risk everything and completely blow up his life. He's not in his right mind.
Yeah, I would be worried.
Yes,
I would be worried.
And file for the restraining order. You think?
I think potentially, yeah. I would
Because he does have, if this was just like a random stalker creepo, the restraining order could possibly piss someone off and make them mad. OP and the sister and the wife, they all have the leverage of like, he probably still wants to see his kids and like be involved in the family. So
yeah, and if OP gets that restraining order, does that prevent him from seeing the kids? I don't know.
No, that's not what I was saying.
Oh.
I was saying he was probably more likely, not guaranteed, but more likely to behave. So that way he can get favorable access to like his kids in a divorce and things like that and not be too crazy. And if there's a restraining order, he's probably like, okay, let me just accept this and not try to break it. Possibly. There's more of a chance that he'll respect it because there's a family involved.
You have a point.
Yeah, I was thinking if you get the restraining order, that will make it very hard for him to see his kids. And it's like he's lost everything. So,
but the restraining order is on his sister-in-law, who he wouldn't really have to, like he could probably see his kids at his soon-to-be ex-wife's house where the sister, Opie's wife, isn't present.
Yeah, that's true. I just imagine
It could limit it.
I think it could it could limit it. And also in the divorce context, like he probably, if he has a restraining order, is he going to get access to his kids in the divorce?
I see what you're saying.
Most likely not. She'll have full custody and can choose when to let him have it. But it's like, I guess I wouldn't file for a restraining order yet. It's very creepy, and I think it's almost there. But if this was me, I would probably talk with the sister-in-law.
Yeah, maybe
I would be like, talk to her and be like, hey, like I feel a little bit unsafe, but I also want to work with you to make sure that your family feels strong.
Yeah, I think it's fair if ultimately OP's wife wants it, get it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But if she's
and ultimately, if you want it, get it. But I think like maybe factoring in the sister-in-law is a good idea.
Yeah, you were saying the restraining order might come up in like the court case of the divorce and be a reason for him not to. It's not the fact that she might be in close vicinity to the nieces and nephews that he like couldn't enter that restraining order force field,
which may be also a thing.
Could also be a thing too. Let's get into some relevant comments.
Because it sounds like the families hang out a lot.
It does. That is true. That is a good point. But on to some relevant comments. Mace1 says, the fact that you casually said you wouldn't do anything tonight and you would call him tomorrow and not tell your sister ASAP is highly suspect. I can't imagine a situation where any man would want to have lunch with my wife alone to share something with her, and I'd be okay with that. You really said wait until tomorrow after he professes their undying love to your wife. Something is afoot and there's more to the story that you're not sharing. I mean, what if they want to plan a surprise party? So the commenter Mace1 is saying,
why didn't you confront him right away instead of waiting till tomorrow?
Yeah. So when he called, he's like, hey, let's get lunch tomorrow. It just needs to be the two of us alone. He's like, you should have like stopped it right then and there.
No.
Like, what if they're planning a surprise party?
Yeah, or I think a reasonable expectation would be like, oh, they're just friends and they want to get
That's
together.
what I'm saying. Like, I feel like your relationship should have trust to the degree where it's like, if that happens, you're like not really worried, or like if anything comes into your mind, like, oh, this is irrational because I trust my partner so much. So Mace1, maybe you need to check your own relationships.
Check yourself, Loretta, or you wreck yourself.
Bro. Anyways.
Get wrecked.
OP responds, we are all pretty close. My sister and my wife are college friends and we are family. I know this guy well. He's not a stranger. I just needed some time to process. My whole life just changed. Yeah, I don't think there's...
Yeah.
I think they executed it perfectly.
Dude, Reddit can be pretty all like 100% just shut down. No contact. Don't. And I think often responses are way more nuanced than the Reddit comments suggest.
100%. But yo damn says he does text her frequently, but there is nothing overly sexual. So since the constant text to your wife from your sister's husband were only a bit sexual,
this is what I said. I was like, what does that mean?
Anyways, I can't believe you didn't go straight to your sister's, tell her, and beat his ass.
Why doesn't he just end him?
Honestly, I was reading the texts weren't overly sexual, as there was basically nothing sexual unless you're like
I feel
really stretching.
Yeah. It's like there was banter, but there was no nudes.
Well, geez, not like that extreme, but like
there was banter,
for instance,
but there was no mention of like, oh, what are you wearing? It's like, you're an idiot. No, you're an idiot.
Yeah, no, like I'm stroking my meat right now.
Yeah.
Or nothing even remotely close to it.
Yeah.
Like it might be like, hey, we're gonna be going to dinner. Make sure you're not late. Like, you know,
I might be late because you raw dogged me.
No, why are we going to the absolute furthest extremes?
I wish he would have just said flirty.
Light, simple, basically, I think my interpretation of this is you would have to like really read into the text to even find something flirty.
Light and breezy.
Yeah, my God, guys. I hope he responds. The text never crossed the line. Ha! I was right. I see all of them, and he knows that. We are family, and it never occurred to me or my wife that things could take this turn. Like I said, my wife is a ball buster, and she treated him like a brother, like family. So they're close friends. They're joking around. You know, they're friends, they're family. They're joking around. They're like, they're razzing each other.
Yeah,
just for kicks.
But I have shared with my wife many of your comments. It makes me feel better that virtually everyone here holds her blameless. Yeah, as we should. It makes her feel better, so thank you. Unfortunately, the mess continues. My sister agreed to talk to her husband last night and let him explain. She puts my wife on FaceTime during this conversation, so there will be no lying. I am listening in as well off camera. Is OP's wife like, does the...
I think it's like a FaceTime, the 3-way call with OP's wife.
And only OP is off camera.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. My sister is also recording the whole thing, also smart. He admits he's been obsessing with my wife for years.
Ooh.
It started the day he met her. My wife and I were dating at the time, but he met my wife before he met me. Like I said, my wife and sister are longtime friends, and my sister wanted to introduce her boyfriend to her friends. He thought it was only physical for a while, but over time, he knew it was more. My sister nearly kicks him out right there, but listens a little more, and she eventually asks what made him think that my wife would leave me for him. He answers that there's obviously mutual attraction, and he figured it would begin as an affair and then things would progress from there.
He thought it out.
Everything's all planned.
I mean,
But there was no mutual attraction. I want to know why
wasn't.
he thought the one waist touch that you did in the kitchen.
he's taking every single, because remember their whole relationship, they were very like, they were razzing each other and joshing. They were bantering. They were like friends. Yeah. So he mistook the friendship as something more, 1,000 times more than what it actually was in reality. My wife and sister explode at that point. A lot of cussing, a lot of screaming. Phone call is over, and my wife hangs up because at this point, she is concerned for me. She's shaken and distraught and assures me the attraction was one-sided. I never thought it wasn't. Even if she did find him physically attractive, I know that she would never act on it. Security. Trust and security.
And like your partner is going to find other people physically attractive. It's like that is being human.
It is a requisite for finding their partner attractive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So it's like that is fine. What's not fine is having an affair.
Exactly. She's just not the type. Early on in our relationship, she caught me admiring her as she was dressing, asked if I liked what I saw before her face turned cold, and told me to never F up or I'd never see it again. Damn. She meant it. She's serious about trust. So basically, both of them are like, we would never cheat on each other. And we both feel confident and trust each other. Let's go. Anyway, I knew my brother-in-law was a little cocky, but my God, I never knew he thought that highly of himself to be able to pull off something like this. I talked to my sister later on, and she is contacting the lawyer Monday to see what steps she can take to limit his exposure to her kids. As far as she's concerned, he is detached from reality. I mean, kind of fair.
Sounds like it.
Sounds about right.
And that's all I have for now. I'll update once the dust settles a little bit. And there are some more relevant comments here.
I don't know if I've learned anything that has like changed my mind on the situation.
Yeah.
I feel like I thought he was unhinged before this update.
Well, I think now we were discussing like, does the like getting a restraining order or any other like legal action now possibly affect access to the kids that might be bad for the kids? But I think
sounds like the sister-in-law wants that access to be restricted.
Yes.
So if you want the restraining order, I will still ask the sister-in-law, if you like, do you want me to get a restraining order? And if so, then do so.
Yeah, well, and it sounds like just in general, the restraining order for OP's wife aside, she's just trying to figure out by any means, how can I limit access to him to my kids now? Yeah. Before like a full official divorce.
And I keep saying sister-in-law, I mean OP's sister.
OP's sister. Yes, OP's sister. Relevant comments. Paul in VA says, my wife and I were talking about this, and that's what we thought. He wanted to start an affair and then go from there. There was no way to recover from asking your sister-in-law to have an affair if the feeling isn't mutual. You gotta really be ready to put it all on the line.
Yep.
Like, honestly, if you're gonna do it, you literally got to be like, go ahead, tell the wife, because like I have accepted that. But he's like so detached from reality, and that's already such a. I mean, again, even if you find them attractive, even if you have true deep romantic feelings for that person, like it is damn near evil to like do it this way, to act on it.
Well, I think it's like, it's one thing. It's just there's multiple boundaries that you're crossing.
It doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
Exactly.
Like you're not only crossing the boundary of husband and wife, you're crossing the boundary of brother and sister. Mm-hmm. Right. So it's like when you have multiple, but hey, we've read stories where people have done it before. So it's not like it can't happen.
Yep. This is true. You have torched everything. Incredibly high risk gambit with low success potential. It's high risk,
Low reward.
I guess technically it is high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Technically, if we want to get technical about it. But he would have done this sooner or later, with or without the kitchen incident. Great point. OP says he had made comments to me many times through the years that my wife was out of my league. I would just laugh and agree, she is. I guess he thought his gamble was not so high risk.
I'm a high value man.
You know.
Obviously, I deserve your wife.
I listened to some podcasts, and after I listened, I realized I'm the greatest guy in the earth.
Yeah.
She's in my league because I'm such a Sigma, and I know it. I know. I would never say she's out of
I'm
my
actually
league.
out of all leagues.
Out of all leagues,
I am in the space league.
I'm not human.
I am a god.
I have come to destroy the human race. Improv. All right, but Sam,
Say the uterus?
I have
Human
come to
race.
destroy the human race.
Oh, I thought you said the uterus. I was like, whoa.
That includes uteruses.
Yeah.
The human race does.
Yeah.
But Sam.
Yep.
But Riley.
But
We have a final update. Grow up! Because we have real serious issues to be reading and dissecting with the amazing OK fam here. Riley, my God,
Get a
show some
grip.
decor.
is there an update?
Yes, there is. I'm going to read it right now to your face holes. Oh, Steven. This is likely to be my final update, as I don't see much happening after this besides the divorce proceedings. Thanks for all the comments. They have helped my wife with some of the guilt. Anyway, my brother-in-law returned home yesterday, not because my sister wants him back, but because she can't legally stop him. So she hasn't been able to get those restrictions that she wanted so far. The lawyer tells my sister that since my brother-in-law's behavior over the past few days have been documented, there is a good chance that she will be granted full custody. He doesn't seem to even want to fight her on that. Even it makes him look even.
The only thing he wants?
Opie's wife. Let's freaking go. My sister will be fine. Any love she had for him is gone, and she doesn't seem broken up about it. The kids don't know what happened yet, but my brother-in-law was never around that much when the kids were home. He slept at the fire station many nights and put in a lot of overtime. So he was already not as involved as father.
Bro was plotting.
Bro's plotting. He used all that time away to hatch his scheme.
My plan is working perfectly.
But it is certainly going to be hard on them once they know what's going to happen, which is the divorce. Many commenters have said that there must be more women, but as far as we can tell, there hasn't been. It's really just this obsession with my wife. She has blocked his phone, but the same night he returned home, he sends my wife an email from an account that he just made. Bro does not know when to stop.
I feel like it's not going to be like a I want your body email, though. I feel like it's going to be something a little bit more somber.
Really? Well, starts off with an apology.
What?
But then it took a turn.
Oh, no. Wait, seriously?
He said he never got to finish at the restaurant that day.
What? Oh.
The restaurant where he confessed his love to her. He didn't reach full completion
Why?
of his statement.
How is he not getting it? I don't understand. How is he not getting it?
Because he's deranged. Then he went on for paragraphs and paragraphs about all the things he loves about my wife and the desperation he felt that led him to do what he did. He mentioned their mutual attraction again and this tension that he's always felt between them.
Dude, it's one way.
And ended with a rather large section about me. Oh, let's just say I don't know how he had such a low opinion of me. He was quite certain that I was not satisfying my wife properly. Oh my. Anyway, we sent the email to my sister and it will go to the lawyer. This guy is not only
you know
deranged,
what?
but an idiot.
You know what?
What?
That brother-in-law, not the a-hole for giving them more evidence in the divorce proceedings.
That's true.
You have signed your own divorce, essentially.
That's not true, because he thought that maybe this was his true last final shot in his deranged mind.
I mean, yes, it is deranged mind, but in actuality, he just made it easier for everyone.
He helped them by accident.
He helped them by accident.
Fair enough. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
He did a good job up here.
It might be enough to get him removed from the house. Finally, my wife isn't great, but she is doing better every day. She does blame herself for being too comfortable around my brother-in-law. She's always careful to set boundaries with other men. In case you haven't figured it out already, my wife is pretty stunning and gets a lot of male attention. But with But with my brother-in-law, she felt safe to be herself since he was family. Surely no lines would be crossed. Surely. Damn. Shirley Temple.
OP's got it made in the shade.
That's true. And Shirley Temples are not a real drink.
What?
Surely.
What?
Surely it wouldn't happen. Shirley Temples are not a real drink.
It is a real drink.
It's not a real drink.
What do you mean?
A virgin drink.
The drink.
But like,
It's not a alcoholic
it's
drink.
a liquid that you can.
But when we say drink, we refer to a drink like
Okay, not an alcoholic beverage. There you go.
yes, not a drink. Do we say I'm going out? We say we're going out drinking. We're not drinking water.
You literally just said drinking water.
No. We say we're going out drinking. When we use drink or drinking in its own, the context is that it is a alcoholic beverage.
You want some water to drink?
Some water to drink. You've now contextualized the drink. But if you use drink, hey, we're going out drinking. No context. What are we doing? Drinking alcohol. Of course.
All right.
Woo! Side banter.
You know I'm right, Craig.
Got me there.
You
Right?
won. Wow. You won.
Got him.
Damn.
Okay. Boom. I'm on
a good
fire
point.
today. Okay.
That's a great point.
Surely no lines would be crossed. She and my sister are cool, and there doesn't appear to be any resentment, so that makes me happy. We will all be okay. It will just take time. Thanks to all who commented and voiced their support. And ladies and gentlemen, let's close out with these relevant comments. Any Decision 470 says, what a bomb he threw in to blow everything up. Please take steps to secure your home and your car. Recommend a restraining order so he can't come around trying to explain or convince or apologize to your wife, hoping your sister can do what she needs to be done and can move on to a better life. OP responds, I don't think my brother-in-law is dangerous, just conceded. You never thought he would do this.
Like you don't know how far someone can go. Like you didn't think he could go this far, yet he did.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
You never know, right?
The guy was quite a ladies' man before getting married and still got plenty of attention after. His ego is bruised, but I do have cameras and an alarm.
oh, so he was also hot.
Two hotties.
You hottie.
And he's like, of course.
of course I got
Of course
it.
it's going to happen.
Easy.
And Opie's ugly. So
The regular Joe, just like us.
that's right.
Fuck you guys.
Thanks, buddy. PH1226 says, thank you for sharing your sad story. It has been helpful for me. My wife has been casually pursued by a married member of my club, and she is usually too surprised and modest to assume what he's after. When he first started, my wife thought it was just harmless banter, but I didn't and told her I didn't think so. As it continued, she finally realized I was right. So when I had to tell him to knock it off, she was relieved. It took 3 incidents for him to finally get the message. OP responds with and closes out the story. My wife is mad at herself because she is usually so careful. She's had so many incidents when she was younger with guys she was friendly with that ended up making unwanted advances. And that is the end of the story here.
That's the end.
So I think everything was pretty much done exactly as it should have been.
Yeah.
I would say probably.
Yeah. Really. So
Good
you
execution.
think the brother-in-law should have done everything that he did?
Yes. I said what I said.
Checks
and
out.
I stand by it.
Checks out.
No, everyone who
John
responded to
condones cheating on your wife
no.
and and transgressions against family.
I'm shocked. Did you see that coming?
No. I think that everyone who responded to the brother's craziness,
The initial craziness.
the initial craziness, very well executed. Seems like everyone's doing everything right and in the best possible place it could be.
I agree.
So does Phil,
Phil, our little
worm friend.
worm.
Got
What?
one of those.
Riley.
Doesn't have a face.
Apologize to Phil.
Sorry, Phil.
Yeah.
Apologize to him.
Apologies.
Do you mean it though?
So cute.
You know.
Phil is adorable. Most adorable worm I've ever seen. Yeah, actually, I wouldn't straighten him out like that.
See?
Why?
Honestly, I can't crochet, but the curvature, the wiggles are impressive.
The wiggles are impressive.
Very impressive. But you know what else is super impressive, Sam?
This next story.
That's right. Read it to me. Break it down for me.
My brother had a cancer scare, but my entitled grandmother managed to make it all about her.
It's not always about you, Grandma.
Hello, I'm new here and have many stories to share about my grandma. She is a C word, to put it simply. I have many stories to share about her, some my own and some my mom's. She was the definition of a mother-in-law from HE double hockey sticks, but that's not here or there. But I do have a story that is making my blood boil. She will now be called EG. Entitled Grandma. We're going to call her Grandma because I refuse to acknowledge her as my flesh and blood. Okay, maybe we should have a different name for EG. I'm just going to say Grandma for simplicity.
Grandmama.
Grandmama.
By the way, this comes from Acrobatic Bug 64, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, recently my brother, 22 male, developed a strange lump in his neck. This had been a month-long ordeal. So, I will begin at the beginning. Upon receiving this news, my brother's first reaction was just to call my mother and dad, allowing them to spread the news if they wanted to. My mom told her mom so they could send him food, clothes, money, etc. My grandmother didn't become aware of this until about a week or so ago, mostly because she wasn't going to do anything but pester. After the initial acknowledgement of the possibility of cancer, she proceeded to call my brother and yell at him for not telling her first. How could you not tell me about your cancer?
I want to know about your cancer first. Like, you're so selfish.
She accused him of being selfish.
Oh, that's crazy. What a wild thing to say.
For keeping this diagnosis from her, a nurse.
Oh, what's she gonna do? Does she have the cure to cancer?
Boom.
And shut your mouth.
I find this stupid because she's a CNA. No insults to CNA. You guys do wonderful work. My family is a family of nurses and doctors. Heck, my brother is going to medical school himself. Not to mention, her being a nurse does not entitle her to no personal information about us. We didn't want to tell extended family yet because we weren't sure if it was cancerous or a cyst. We didn't want to create unnecessary worry. Throughout the month, she had been calling and texting him non-stop. When he didn't respond, she would blow up my phone and my brother's phone. I don't live with my brother, and admittedly, I don't have much contact with him, so I don't know why she called me 45 times within 2 days. That is basically 1 time per hour.
45 times within 2 days?
Those are rookie numbers. Get those up.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I had to block her number so I could get through school without my phone constantly buzzing in my pocket. She finally stopped when my dad stepped in and forced her to. We hadn't heard from her much during that time, or at least so I thought. We had to go over to where my dad lives so my brother could have it removed. Insurance problems were the reason we couldn't stay in town. It was just supposed to be my dad, my mom, and me. I was mostly there for my mom because I didn't want her to be alone. When we let family know, Grandma decided to call my brother and demand he go to Mayo Rochester for a second opinion. We didn't even have the first opinion yet. All we knew was that the lump had to be taken out. It hadn't even been biopsied or sent to pathology. She kept insulting the hospital we were going to and claiming that Rochester was so much better. It was not. It was just further. We were going to Bell End, or Infinity by Bell End. This made my dad angry because he works at the hospital, and it's Bell End. My dad called her and told her to shut the F up. Silence. We were hoping that would be it. Guess what, guys?
It never is.
It wasn't.
Of course not.
It wasn't the end. The initial trip was supposed to be a 3.5 day trip, leaving Tuesday night for the hospital and leaving Friday afternoon. It was just going to be the 4 of us. However, in true grandma fashion, she decided to butt into the situation once more. She announced on Facebook, of all places, that she will be going to her grandbaby's surgery to be there for him and that they should pray for her, not him.
She's like, pray for me that I may get through these trying times, not anyone else.
This is going to be
Don't
really...
even think about praying for my son.
Yeah, this is going to be really hard on me. Like, I'm going to have to watch him be in bed. I'm just going to be at a hospital for 3.5 days. That's tough.
She's like, I'll vlog from inside. I'll text you guys updates.
We were not aware she was coming until that announcement, a day before we had to leave. We set it up and just tried to keep things nice and stress-free for my brother. When we arrived, it was smooth at first. First night, we got dinner and discussed plans for the next day. My brother had a CT at 9:15 and then a consultant for surgery at 11:30. Afterwards, we were going to wander around the city and enjoy ourselves. The first part of our plans went well. We got up to breakfast and then went to the CT appointment. I was originally going to meet my stepmom there, and we were going shopping and getting some things for post-surgery. However, grandmother met us at the hospital. At the first appointment, she began demanding to take my mom's spot in the appointment room, saying she had a lot more right to be there in that room because she knew more than my mom did.
What? That's so stupid. That logic makes no sense. Like, if someone's sick, only the nearest doctor in your family is the only one that can be in there.
Yeah.
It's like, Mom, you can't be in there. My third cousin is a doctor, so
hierarchy.
Hierarchy. He's got to be in there.
It doesn't go by closeness. It goes by education.
Doctorate.
Experience.
If you have a doctorate.
Dude, if you had a doctorate, you could do anything.
I could do anything, man.
I can give people drugs. Here
you
go.
can do that now.
I don't want to follow those footsteps.
Footsteps? Whose footsteps?
I don't think she knows. My mother, the mother of my brother. Before my mom could say anything, my brother put his foot down, which shut Grandma up for a bit. She pouted in the corner while my brother and my parents went into the appointment with him. The appointment took about an hour or so. My stepmom and I began getting ready to go shopping for a bit, catching up and deciding where to go. Grandma stepped in and demanded that we stay or invite her along. We denied her, saying that we wanted it to just be us, and I hadn't seen my stepmom in a while. Then the conversation took a turn for the worst. She began calling me a disappointment for not thinking of my grandmother and how I was just such an ungrateful brat. She ranted about how she would be unalive to spend another moment with her grandmother and how I never know. She might just drop passed away.
She might just drop.
She just might drop. She started demanding why I didn't defend her and why I blocked her. I was not in a good mood. After years of abuse from this hag, the burnout of high school, and the fact that it was 9 o'clock in the morning, I simply replied in with a short tone, if you dropped passed away right now, I couldn't care less.
Dang.
And then turned on my heel with my mom and went shopping.
Ooh. Opie did like a little, if you passed away right now, I couldn't care less. She did like a passed away drop.
What do you gift dead people?
What do you gift them?
Yeah.
Is this a joke?
Well, they're going shopping, so she could probably pick up grandma something. I could give her like some coffin earrings.
You could give her some flowers.
There
for
we
your
go.
grave.
Exactly.
Ooh.
After the CT, we decided to go out as a family until the next appointment. Grandma took this opportunity to take control. She started directing us places she wanted to go, places she thought my brother would like, and she kept asking my brother to buy things for her.
Your brother has cancer?
Because apparently this situation was just as hard on her as it was on my brother. What?
Oh my lord.
Hey, can you buy me something? Why are we telling our grandkids to buy us stuff?
Buy me something? Because your cancer is really bringing me down.
That makes no sense at all.
None.
My stepmom and I double-teamed Grandma whenever she started pestering my brother over the smallest things. Like, she wasn't allowed in the appointment. We separated them quickly and ended the conversation before it escalated. Finally, it was time for the second appointment instead of shopping. I sent the appointment time doing schoolwork, and I was missing a few days. Not to mention, I was emotionally drained from trying to parent a boomer. Grandma started pestering me, though this time she was a bit nicer, asking about school and such. I began talking about my plans for senior year in college. She then started trying to tell me what I should do with my life, that I should follow my father's footsteps, become a respiratory therapist, or something better yet, a CNA like her. I told her no, that I planned to become either a psychologist or a physical therapist. That was final. She pouted and then started telling me what classes I should take for my senior year, insisting my schedule would be too hard for me. She said that sometimes it was a bit of a slow and might not be able to handle calculus and physics at the same time. I bit my tongue and ignored her. She got angry at me for ignoring her, and all I could muster was, this is why no one wants you around.
Opie is not taking any freaking crap, man.
Dude, I
She's
don't
like,
blame
this is
her.
why everyone hates you.
This is why you should just go ahead and drop dead.
Yeah, she would say that, though.
She did.
She did say that, though, yeah.
That shut her up for a while. Finally, lunchtime came and we went to my brother's restaurant choice. Dude, it's now lunch.
Dang, you had a long day ahead of you. He's just now lunch.
Oh my God.
You got a long day ahead of you.
Oh. Grandma complained about the restaurant and then tried to tell us what to order. When she heard I had ordered enchiladas, she started ranting about my cholesterol and weight, saying, you know, a fat PT is a bad PT. I moved seats, leaving her alone at the end of the table. When the waiter came, she tried to change my order to a salad. My mom stepped in and told her to shut the F up.
Nobody likes this grandma. I love that everyone's just like, shut the F up, grandma.
Shut up.
Drop dead, grandma. And the grandma's like,
shut up. I'm burnt.
It's too hot.
No one.
No one is dealing with this grandma's crap, man. The grandma's like, you should change your career to mine. And everyone's like, shut up. Jesus, Grandma.
We're treating her like Jerry from Parks and Rec, but she deserves this. My dad gave her the glare of doom. She finally shut up. That night, she pestered me to stay at her hotel. I refused, not wanting to leave my mom alone. She tried to drag me away by arm, calling me a brat. I pulled away and called her an effing hag. The next day, we learned she had gone home because she knows when she's not wanted. Doubtful. She sent us all a long string of texts saying how disappointed she was in us for not respecting her and how stressed she was about my brother's possible cancer. I ignored her. The rest of the trip went well. My brother's surgery went well. Luckily, it was just benign.
Benign. Sorry, I didn't know where you were looking.
Luckily, it was just benign.
Were you thinking beignet?
Sure, I don't know. I just did my best of trying to say it. Yeah, I was gonna say Ben Gwyn, like penguin, Ben Gwyn. That was my first guess, but I knew that was absolutely wrong.
It just means that it's not harmful. There's malignant tumors and benign tumors.
Now he has a wicked scar from where his lymph node was removed. And I still have grandmother blocked. Guys.
Yeah, someone says, Teacher Yo says, I can't imagine this type of relationship with a grandparent. True. Like, everyone hates this grandma so much.
What caused her to be so...
But it's also because I feel like sometimes you have a relationship with we read stories where a grandparent's terrible and one person's like, oh, like, no one gets it. Everyone keeps telling me to be nice to my grandma. But every family member in this story has been like, shut up, Grandma.
That's too damn bad.
And guys, this is just one part of Grandma trying to make everything about herself. We have another update. And it is titled, My Grandma Tried to Ruin the Wedding, because it wasn't all about her. We got another update. After this incident, I mean, I know OP blocked her, but what about the family? Like, what does the family do?
Everyone blocks the grandma.
Really?
No.
Everyone blocks Grandma?
I don't think everyone
lives
can
a
block
life
grandma.
alone.
Bye, Grandma.
In silence.
Grandma just seems kind of annoying, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's like everyone needs to block her. She just sounds like really annoying.
True.
Just like ignore her a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you do? I mean, it's family. It's just like the cards you're dealt, you know?
Duchess Cassandra says they just invite her to everything and rag on her. Literally.
She's just the butt of the joke.
Yeah, like she comes to they're like, hey, Grandma, come over. And then they're like, Grandma, you freaking suck.
Noted. We might have to have a conversation about the next story. But guys, here's the next story. This is the update to this about the same grandma.
Same grandma.
My entitled grandmother tried to ruin the wedding because it wasn't all about her.
Maybe Grandma needs to get married.
My dad was around 27 and my mom 25. They'd been together for 3 years and wanted to tie the knot. Grandma wasn't a big fan of my mom from the beginning, mostly because my mom didn't let her walk all over her to an extent, but also because my mom had an ex-fiance and wasn't a virgin, which is funny because neither was my dad.
Yeah, but she just hates women.
Yeah. Also, like, how does she know that?
Yeah, who was having that conversation? She was like, are you a virgin? And OP's mom was like, that's not your business. And she's like, well, there we have it. There's my answer.
I guarantee you, OP, the grandma's like, I am. That doesn't make sense, Grandma. I am.
Yes, I am. Immaculate Conception.
I'm the Mother Mary.
Mother Mary. It first began when she ruined the proposal. My dad proposed at a nice dinner party with family involved, so everyone would be there. My mom knew about the proposal because she had picked out the ring. She just didn't know when it would happen. Grandma thought it would be a good idea to spoil the proposal by declaring my uncle's deployment date right after. It didn't work. She got chewed out by my dad later. Like, hey, these people are gonna get married. This guy is out of here.
Yeah. They're like, OP's dad is like, would you make me the happiest man on earth? And Grandma's like, he's going to the army.
This guy's going to Vietnam.
He's going to Vietnam.
He's on his way to Nam.
Bummer for him. You guys are getting married while this man fights a war. And then they're like, Grandma, shut up.
Great timing, Grandma. However, throughout the dinner, she was making sly comments about the ring being too fancy and my mom being shallow for wanting such a nice ring. I've seen the ring. It's one diamond with a twist band, far from big, far from fancy. After my mom didn't react to the ring comments, she began to go after my mom's weight. This is her low. She always goes after people's weights. The dinner was AT double hockey sticks. When my parents went home, They didn't talk much. Then the planning went to heck. My mom and dad wanted to be married within a year of the proposal, mostly due to finances and because my mom wanted to start having children. My grandma disagreed. They were moving too fast. And when my mom mentioned her plan for children, all of a sudden, she was too old for me having kids. Mind you, she even said that if my mom wanted children, she should have stayed with her ex-fiance instead of marrying her son. Keep in mind, my mom was 25, and if they got married, she'd be 26. Then grandma began telling her to stop pursuing her career because it would be easier just to be a stay-at-home wife, especially if she wanted kids. My mom didn't stop her career. She ended up just ignoring grandma for the most part, ignoring phone calls, texts, and messages, which caused grandma to have a conniption fit and go crying to my dad. Here's the response. Okay.
Oh, grandma.
Her behavior continued throughout the wedding planning. Everything had to be her way. The church was never right. The arch, the dates, the guest list. She tried to convince my parents to push back their wedding to fit her and her friends' schedules. And when my mom denied her friends from coming, she threatened not to attend. My parents budged only slightly, mostly with the church because my mom wasn't particularly attached to one. Grandma tried to convince them to get married in her church. The problem? My parents lived in Michigan, up, while my grandma lived in Wisconsin, down. The church was also incredibly small. It was a town of under 2,000 people. Yeah, that's a small town.
Dang, man.
While my mom and dad had a small wedding with only family and a handful of friends, it still wouldn't have fit my mom's side. Grandma witched and moaned about not having the wedding at her church until my grandpa shut her up, saying he'd go without her.
No one likes grandma.
Yeah, dude. Grandpa's not even having
Miss Chambers said everyone is so dumb with her crap.
Like, how do you entertain this? How do you stay around this?
But none of them, they're just like, oh, grandma, shut up. Shut up, grandma.
Get out of here.
Oh, man.
Wedding dress shopping came around. My mom wanted simple pale colors for bridesmaids, and guests could wear neutral colors. The wedding party was in pale greens and pinks to accent her dress. She had a beautiful gown laced with a puffy skirt and a veil, corset, and flowy sleeves. Grandma didn't like the dress. My mom hadn't invited her to wedding dress shopping. She didn't invite her own mother either, since she lived in Florida, and just had her bridesmaids there. Grandma was infuriated. How dare she not invite her own mother-in-law? Well, technically, you're not the mother-in-law yet. And other technically, you live very far away. And another technically, I don't like you.
And there you have it. Facts from Riley. Facts from Riley with glasses. Riley's alternate persona.
I don't know how to perceive you with glasses.
Where's my glasses?
Wait.
My glasses.
I can show you a picture with me with glasses.
I could just get my glasses, but I would have to get up.
I'm going to find...
Lucy Smith says, Grandma doesn't like anything, apparently. Yup. Grandma's got problems with everything, and everyone's just tired. Just really tired of it.
She's tired of everything.
Like, what do you do? What do you do with the you just, what kind of life is it to be the grandma, though, you know?
Try so hard to be so...
Yeah, and everyone hates you. Like, that's such a sad life. Even your own husband is sick of you. Honestly, I feel bad for this grandma.
I've seen Riley in glasses. It's out there.
Is the joke that you were wearing glasses and you've seen Riley?
You slap her. Didn't my mom know that my aunt never invited grandma to dress shopping either? Wonder why? And that she had always dreamed of picking out a dress for her daughter and daughter-in-law? My mom broke her heart. Then she saw the dress. Her lips pursed. Her eyes widened. She began tearing into it, saying it made my mom look like a witch. And how dare she wear white and lie to God?
Here's all the virgin talk again.
She said it looked like it came out of a dumpster, that it didn't flatter her, that she looked like a sausage. My mom was so close to returning the dress because she no longer felt beautiful in it. Until my grandma, her mom, dug into entitled grandma, making her go crying to my dad like a beaten puppy. Entitled grandma cooled down for a little while. She stopped going after my mom and instead went after my dad. For the most part, my dad has always been the quiet, stoic type. His way of dealing with his mom was agreeing with her, but never actually doing what she said. You should have this selection of wine and beer. Okay, doesn't do it. You should do this for the tables. Okay, doesn't do it.
That's so funny.
You should say this. Okay.
Okay.
Doesn't do it.
Okay.
He's just K-ing IRL.
He's like, sure.
Yep.
That's maybe the best way to do it, because then she feels like she's getting heard, but you're not actually doing any of it.
Thanks. Dude, this grandma.
Oh, bother, this grandma.
This method was rather effective at times. However, as she felt she wasn't getting her way, her nagging got worse. she became more bold and started calling caterers and florists to change my parents' plans. Guys, and that's why we have what?
Passwords.
Passwords. That's why we have passwords with our florists, our caterers, everyone for our weddings.
Passwords.
Because you don't know who's after you.
Anyone could be after you at all times. Watch your back.
Even your
You're not
grandma.
safe.
You're not safe.
No one's
Guys,
safe.
Always have passwords for your caterers. I'm going to get reading the story and we'll fix it. My mom and my dad had told them ahead of time, don't change anything unless you hear it from us. After a few calls of fighting, arguing, and shouting, she stopped. Mostly because my dad threatened to uninvite her if she kept going at this. Her nagging went from the wedding workers to him. She nagged him so much that he had to go to ER for severe migraines and headaches. Twice. What? It was that bad?
Ay.
Goodness gracious.
I mean, if she's just in your ear going, come on, you have to do this, you have to do this, we need more of this. And it's like, oh my God, I have a headache.
I'm done. I'm out of there. So, finally, the wedding came. It was going to happen the way my parents wanted. She could make petty comments and remarks, but she wasn't going to ruin this day for my mom. Well, ... As you all know, she's the pain in the old rooster. So you could probably see this coming from a mile away. She wore a wedding dress to the wedding.
Grandma.
This is the ultimate thing that you cannot do. What do we not wear at a wedding, Sophia?
Wedding dresses.
And what else?
White.
Whites. We never wear whites. No matter if the bride tells you, no matter if the groom tells you, no matter whoever tells you, never wear whites.
It ain't that hard.
And no one told you. And why? This is not your wedding. Are you going to get married to your son?
Yeah, you freak. You freak.
This is the worst thing you can do.
I'm back. I'm so big now.
Sophia. In fact, Grandma wore the same wedding dress she had wanted my mom to wear. She even arrived with a little entourage of guests, also in wedding dresses. She brought a crew!
She pulled up with the entourage. Grandma, how do you have any friends? Grandma? No one seems to like you. How did you find these friends? Did you pay for them? Grandma, be honest. Did you pay for these friends? Because that's embarrassing.
She brought a group
She brought the entourage.
of people. Also, if we're going by your standards, you shouldn't be wearing white at a wedding either, girl.
That's true. Go wear red.
Wear black. It's somebody's funeral.
That's true. That would have been pretty iconic.
My dad took one look at them, walked away, and had her friends punted out. Grandma stayed because trying to punt her out would have caused the cops to be called and more headaches than they wanted. The wedding continued, but Grandma wasn't allowed in photos. That was my dad's first wedding. My mom says divorcing my father was such a relief because she could finally get away from his crappy mother. My dad, on the other hand, is stuck with her until she passes away. So this is his new wife. So the lady that he was with is his new stepmom.
Got you. And so she seems like a little bit more reasonable than this other mother.
I wonder if they got divorced because of the mom.
Probably.
Also, if I took this back to my room, do you think anyone would notice?
No.
Because Sam fought me on this so hard.
It's not even in the other our studio now.
I might take it back.
Wait, go to your full thing?
Yeah.
It's not even in the camera.
Guys, Sam wanted this to be in here for so long. He fought it. I got this for free, and he bought me another one.
Is the other one not good?
No, that one's fine. It's just this is mine.
Didn't he give it to you?
This one? No, April gave this to me.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he took it from me and put it in here. He would go in my room, take it, and put it in here.
I thought that was originally him.
No.
No.
I originally did try to give it to him. He didn't want it in his room, so I put it in my room.
I see.
So, his new wife, my stepmom. My dad and my stepmom got engaged during New Year's of 2019-2020. They planned on a 1-year engagement, mostly because they wanted to get it over with since they've been together for about 8 to 9 years. Getting married at this point was just formality to tie things together. When they announced the date, they set it for Grandma's birthday.
Ooh, no one likes Grandma. Moral of the story, Grandma sucks. And they're going to make sure that she gets what she deserves.
Yeah. Okay, everyone's like, what is it? Okay, can you zoom out? It's a lamp. Yeah, just zoom out. We're going to have to zoom out.
Here, I can do it in line. Look, wait, pull it, put on me. It's a
lamp.
See?
It's a lamp.
It's a
You just
lamp.
wanted to flex. You wanted to show off.
It's really nice. It's really nice. Okay.
It's just a lamp.
Sorry, it's not even in here. It's just for the vibes of the room.
Yeah.
When they announced the date, they set it for Grandma's birthday. Okay, this is the worst thing you could do to yourselves. Why would you do that? She was ecstatic at first until she realized her birthday would have to be shared in private. She witched to her gaggle of cronies about the wedding being on her birthday.
Yeah, it's on purpose. It's on purpose.
The vid hit, and the wedding got pushed
Oh,
back
dang
to 2022 with a different date.
Her next birthday.
Instead, it was now on my stepmom's mom's birthday.
Why are you doing it on people's birthdays?
Yeah, what's up with this?
Why? Just do it
There
on
were
another
other
day.
days in the year.
Yeah.
Her mom had long passed. They figured this was a good way to include her.
All right, makes sense now.
Cue the usual nagging. How dare she make it about her mother? By this point, my dad had grown a backbone and started putting his mom in his place. Maybe it's his sobriety.
Sobriety.
What's that?
Like when you don't drink, like being sober.
Sobriety.
Sobriety.
Maybe it was his sobriety, or maybe it was because he'd been through one wedding and wasn't about to go through a third. Grandma tried her usual tactics, trying to butt in and make things about her. It had to be her way, but with a few tongue lashes, it stopped until it came to me. Over the vid, I gained about 50 pounds due to stress and pain. I had a lot going on that resulted in me being overweight. Since then, I've been turning that weight into muscle. But then back then, I still had a lot of muscle definition. In fact, I had huge swimmer shoulders, which made it difficult to find some dresses. My stepmom wanted simple black dresses for us. We could decide the style. It just had to be black with open shoulders. I coordinated with my stepsister to make sure we got the same dress. Grandma, however, wanted me to get a different dress, one that was frilly, not black, gold, even cream. I immediately declined. I knew what she was trying to do. The only reason she was even dress shopping with me was because I was 13, couldn't drive.
She's trying to trick you.
And didn't have my stepmom's card like she did. I picked out the same dress as my stepsister and got it in black. It needed to be special ordered since it didn't have my size. They had one smaller and one bigger. So I was able to try those on and get approximate fit. Grandma did not like the dress. Who would have thought?
Who could have thunk? She's like, it doesn't look like a wedding dress enough. And then I need you to bring me along and we're going to steal all of the spotlight from the wedding. You're part of my plan now. Katara Reigns' Get Grammy a blog or something with all of them opinions.
Yo.
Literally.
Yeah, she can be like that dog.
What dog?
Dog with a blog.
Dog with a blog. Throwback.
Clinton. Grandma did not like the dress. It was simple, flowy skirt that hit the ankles, and the buoyants crossed over for a little design. For the most part, it was modest. The only thing really shown was my face and arms. Grandma didn't like that my arms were exposed because people could see my strawberry skin and my muscles. She said it made me look like a man, like a log.
What? That's like a compliment. Like you're like, oh yeah, let's see them. Like you. Yeah. Like thanks, Grandma. I've been working out.
Thanks. I've been actually working on myself.
Thank you. How about you? What you look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Dang! Don't cross Keon. He'll call you out like you look.
Notre Dame.
She said it made me look like a man, like a log. She told me I was too fat for it. While she put me down, I didn't care. I sent a picture to my stepmom, and she loved it. I told Grandma this was the dress we were going with, and that was final. When we put in the order ticket, she tried to order a different style in the color she wanted. I'd already talked to the worker beforehand and warned them, hey, she's going to pull this. You put down what I say, not what she says, because she will ruin this wedding. I don't think the worker took me seriously at first until they saw how Grandma was acting. Finally, the dress shopping was done. And then it was the shoe shopping. And you think, maybe the dress was the hardest part, right? We got done doing dress shopping.
It's going to get harder.
Getting shoes isn't going to be that bad, right?
This is the peak. This is the climax. The hill that you're going to die on. That you're going to pass away on.
I believe it. My stepmom had specific style in mind. Black flats with a pointed toe.
Easy, you would think, right?
In general, I have trouble finding shoes. I wear a size 6 in women's, but I have wide feet, so it's a struggle. We had to go to 3 different shoe stores to just find a pair. Grandma was angry and made weird comments about my feet. Don't know why. Like, I have my dad's fat feet, but my mom's shoe size? She finds the weirdest things to comment about. After shopping, Grandma wanted to get lunch. I didn't, so I told her I had an obligation. She then proceeded to call me a disappointment for not thinking of my grandmother, saying she hadn't seen me in a while and that she deserved to have dinner with her grandkid.
It seems like you don't like your grandkid, though, you know? But I guess, like, if you hate everyone, you gotta take what you can get. And right now she's only got familial obligation as a way to get people to hang out with her.
Yeah. Gosh, dude. I walked home. I didn't want to deal with her. And then the shopping plaza was barely a mile away. A few weeks later, my dress arrived, and we needed to go back to get it hemmed. I planned on just going with my mom, but in true grandma fashion, she butt in and took me instead. I simply bowed my head and took things in stride. At the time, I was experimenting with my hair. I talked with my stepmom about how she wanted it since I was planning on cutting off a lot of length and dyeing it. My stepmom was like, I don't effing care. Do what you want. So I got this boyish cut and dyed it cool red to match my mom. Grandma did not like this. Oh no, she did
Of course
not.
she didn't.
She said I looked even more like a man and a log.
A log?
That's what she said earlier. You look like a man and a log in that dress.
Hope he can't catch a break with his grandma, man.
She called me a slur and demanded to know why I had done something so drastic without consulting her. Now I'm curious.
Actually being homophobic. No, she probably called her a D-slur because she's saying that she looks like a man.
Noted.
Homophobia, grandma, not cool.
I thought it was something with the red hair.
A ginger?
Yeah. Isn't that a slur?
No.
Noted. That's not a slur, guys. I took in her comments about my hair in stride and ignored her. One of the most positives of being deaf. I just can turn off my hearing aids. Oh, she's also deaf.
Oh!
Yo, all right.
You're just like, ding. She's like, and you're like, and she's like,
dude, that's crazy. It's also crazy you didn't mention it earlier, right?
yeah, she never, I mean, I guess it wasn't relevant.
I guess until now. Dang. Finally, I didn't have to see her again until the wedding. Once everything was finalized, I was done dealing with her. The wedding day arrived. Grandma complained about the decorations, saying everything was too vintage. She complained that the hotel wasn't a church. How dare my stepmom not get married in a church? It was held at the Landmark in Merrigan, Michigan, if you're wondering. I ignored her comments and didn't bother telling my dad or stepmom. I just wanted things to go smoothly. We went to get our hair done, and while I was in the chair, I could hear my grandma complaining about how I destroyed my hair. My stepmom shut her up and changed the subject.
Nice.
Dude, stepmom. Let's go.
She's batting for you, man. She's like, you know what? Shut up, grandma. That's my stepdaughter.
Shut up. During the wedding, everything was relatively quiet with her. A few comments here and there, but she was almost nice.
She's about to start something, man. She's planning something.
She almost said, "You look great, OP."
She was like, "You look, OP." OP was like, "You know what? That's the nicest thing she's ever said to me."
You look OP. Oh, that's great. During the wedding, when it came.
Kimberly Fine says, "Get rid of the most vintage thing." Grandma.
Yeah.
Bye.
Dust in the wind.
Just. When it came time to put on the dress, we realized I had the wrong size pantyhose. We had accidentally bought a child size large instead of a women's large. Ooh.
It would be quite
That's
small.
embarrassing. I was like remembering the times I put pantyhose on my head as a kid while doing my mom's laundry. And we were like, "We're going to rob you." I did it, guys. I did it. She's back. I did it. I was just going to go without them since the skirt was long enough. But Grandma offered me a pair of hers with the comment, "I highly doubt they'll fit someone your size, but you can try." They fit. The wedding went smoothly. She didn't wear white, but she dressed like she was going to a funeral.
She's like, "I can't believe my son."
An extremist grandmother here.
Yeah, she's like, "I only do white and black, okay?
I don't do this gray
you can have funeral or me also going to the wedding as the bride, and that's it. Take your pick. I don't do color, okay?"
As if she were mourning and not attending her son's wedding.
And Bella says, "What are pantyhose?" They're like sheer tights, I guess, or like nude tights, basically, like clear tights.
What? I thought everyone had. I thought every woman had.
No.
Do you have them?
No. I have tights. I don't have like pantyhose are usually out thinner. It's just to kind of give you like a nice color, like smooth.
All right.
Smoothness
Noted.
on your legs.
What do you think all guys have?
What does that mean?
A necklace with a ring
tie?
on it? A tie? Okay.
A hat?
True.
Do.
Fair.
It's true, probably.
At the reception, she made a few comments about how I wasn't ladylike. Little did she know. How I should have ordered the... Oh, little did she know. She dropping hints there, OP.
Little did she know.
And how I should have ordered the salmon instead of the steak. The night went on quietly. The reception was supposed to last until 11 p.m. with an hour for cleanup.
That's such a weird that she's like, "It's not lady night to eat steak. Must eat salmon."
Yeah, dude.
I'm killing it, man.
You are killing it. I just made me think of Angie because she likes eating the steak I make, and I miss her now. Sorry. I'm sorry. I was just thinking of women eating steak. I'm like, oh yeah, my girl. Anyways,
Steak sounds so good.
I'll have to cook you guys some. One thing about me, I tend to go to bed early, around 8 to 9 p.m. Since we were staying in the hotel, it wasn't like I had to walk or drive anywhere. I mentioned wanting to go back to the room to sleep, and my grandma denied me. But guys, we will not deny you more stories just like this. Where do you have to go, Sophia, for more stories like this?
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio.
What is the magic word they have to type with their keyboard?
Okay, story time.
And what will be waiting for them right there?
Us. And full episodes.
Stories
with us.
Just like this.
And stories just like this.
You might hear different voices, but we're all in your head, and yes, we're real people.
We're real. We're real people, okay?
Yes. And any thoughts about this grandma?
Dude, this grandma is a nightmare. I would just honestly, I would limit the amount of time you have to talk to her.
Yeah.
No one likes her. So can we just go kind of low contact?
I think that might be the best thing to do here.
Yeah. She's just so exhausting.
Yikes. Don't get married as much, too. Or wait and get married.
Don't get married so much. Don't invite her to the weddings.
Yikes. You've had to go through this twice.
Yeah.
Eventually, 10:30 rolled around, and I was cranky and exhausted. I had been awake since 5:30 a.m., and just wanted to sleep. Sounds like someone I know. Grandma finally told me I ought to be grateful to be part of this wedding, that I should learn to be more ladylike, and that I should just suck it up. Took me crying and begging before my stepmom stepped in and told her to give me a room key so I could go to bed. Finally changed and went to sleep, only to have the worst night of the rest of my life because Grandma kept waking me up.
Oh my God.
She woke me up at 11, helped clean, and then almost every dang hour after that, tell me to turn around, tell me to stop snoring. I was exhausted, and I slept the entire 7.5 hour car ride home.
Leave this girl alone.
Yeah, please.
Leave her alone.
Please. Apart from her, everything else in the wedding was beautiful and fantastic. Thank you for hearing my ranting. I'm apologizing for formatting, spelling, dyslexia, and all that jazz. As a dyslexic person, this was probably the easiest story I've read all week.
Surprised. Man, oh man.
Gosh, dude.
Your grandma is a stinker.
There's a special place for this grandma.
Mm-hmm. And
Don't know where.
The DMV.
Oh, wow. That's the worst thing.
I think this grandma does deserve to sit at a DMV for 3 days a week.
She just has to stay at the DMV. That's her punishment.
She just has to sit there
and wait
and get her license.
And they call her up and they're like, "Oh, you're missing some documents, so you have to go back and get them." And she's like, "What?"
And she comes back,
and she does the test, and she misses it by one question.
And it's just like, dang. And they're like, "Sorry, I'm gonna have to come back in again."
Goodness gracious, guys, we got some more stories here. Whoa! Josephine Mandolo Miller Payne Donner has donated $5. Can we just show some love for Riley? Because in his moments like this, you can truly see his emotional intelligence. He says some wildly out-of-pocket things sometimes, and sometimes he sounds like he has the wisdom and life experience of an 80-year-old man.
So true.
Thank you, Josephine. That is probably the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
So sweet. What should you do if you meet a giant? Use big words.
Joke for the Tomlet. Why was the belt arrested? For holding up a pair of pants.
Hey, Katara Rain, get off to a new start. Come out of your shell.
Josephine says, thank you for the 65 sec. Grandma only dresses in PD. Borderline, only black or white.
Corey Faye, did you hear about the bossy man at the bar? He ordered everyone around.
And Purple Trader, thanks for the $3 and the pair punching the air.
Corey Faye, at this very moment, you can change the rest of your life. Raina or Rena, I was excited to hear Apple might start selling its own cars until I learned they wouldn't support Windows. And Persegriba, what's the difference between the bird flu and the swine flu? One requires treatment and the other an ointment.
Wow.
Boom.
That was great. All right, guys. We got a story for the queen. Sorry, friend. I'm sorry I didn't have it ready. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Sophia tries to get in some punches whenever she can. She's like, Riley! That's my alarm clock. Waking up with a concussion.
That's terrible. This is not true.
Not true. Groundhog Day, but the DMV. Okay, I'll take that.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Oh my God, Groundhog Day with the DMV. But you could just leave the DMV.
Randy Joe, would it be okay for you to show the drawings? Show chat the drawings? Yeah, you can show chat the drawings. Oh, do you want us to?
Let's do it. And then I will need my break.
My boyfriend is learning ASL from my deaf brother, but my friend thinks it's creepy.
Ew, what is he doing with his hands?
Throw away because my regular account has some personal info on it. I, 21 female, met John, 22 male, in a college class last semester. He's overall a great guy. He's very respectful and kind. He also has a great sense of humor, and we have lots of similar interests. We've been friends since then, and we've started dating this July. He's the first person I've ever dated in my life. By the way, this comes from Throw Our Way Tall Giraffe, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, last September, he met my family when I visited home for my brother's birthday. My brother, Trev, 19 male, has been deaf since birth, so my whole family communicates with him either through sign language, Trev's lip reading, but we still just sign as a reflex, or through text. During our small celebration at home, it was clear that my parents liked John. He was very charming, funny, and respectful. He even tried to connect with Trev by typing some of his jokes for Trev to read, although my brother could lip read as well. Whenever John would tell a story, either I or my parents would sign for Trev. My parents said they're happy that I found the sweet and caring guy in John. Of course, I'm glad to hear this. Before we went back, John and Trev had a quick Call of Duty gaming session. For someone with Trev's condition, he's a really talkative guy, lol. He's very expressive and likes to communicate a lot, especially when gaming. Of course, he couldn't outright trash talk, but he does the closest things with his hands. So we are at Trev's room with John and Trev playing while I was translating for them. I was laughing way too hard because Trev was trying his best to trash talk John, like he was saying he was weak and trying to say all these explicitives, but I'm doing my best to tone it down for John. Meanwhile, I'm also translating John's instructions and strategies for Trev. Also, because this was the first time John met my family, he was saying all these praises to Trev like good job or we can do it better next time. Although I know that deep inside, he also wants to trash talk my brother. The two of them got along pretty well. They've been having some online gaming sessions since then. 2 weeks ago, John visited home along with me again for my mom's birthday. There, he surprised everyone, including me, by communicating with Trev through ASL. John was still at the alphabet, some basic words, and some redundant phrases, but we all were delighted that he even made the effort. Trev's face lit up, and I've never seen him happier having a new long-term friend with low communication barriers. Apparently, John had been watching some YouTube tutorials, got a free subscription to a educational platform to learn ASL. The two of them had a gaming session again, and at this time, John and Trev could communicate more directly. Of course, it was kind of slow and I still had to do some translating. Imagine trying baby talk to a grown man or talking to a caveman with choppy sentences, lol. But I could tell Trev was having a great time. They also got more comfortable with each other with more explicit trash talking, which I didn't tone down this time.
You can't tone down the trash talk. It's the male experience. Am I allowed to say that? Whatever.
Who
I
am
said it.
It's the male experience. That's you.
Your face! Your face!
John had been religiously learning ASL since then, and he's making a lot of progress. I was so happy with this. So I told my close friend group from high school. However, most of my friends, especially my closest guy friend, ICU, told me what John was doing was a red flag because it could be a form of obsession and emotional manipulation. I'm gonna tell you right now, that guy is emotionally coming for you. He definitely is.
Yeah, that's crazy. That doesn't make any sense. That's like being like if you had like a Latin partner that if you learn Spanish you're just obsessed. It's like it's thoughtful.
If you can ask.
I dated a Latina for years and I never learned Spanish because I was a bad boyfriend.
We read that. I remember reading that. I was like, wow. We read a story similar to that.
I was like to say, how did you read that? I didn't do that.
I've read that. We've already read that one, Dakota. So he also said it was very creepy because John's becoming too attached to my family. We've only been dating for about 5 months. He also said that John might only be doing this so he could get laid or something. I know there's some vitality to what my friend said, but I'm not really convinced. John has been a wonderful and sincere guy the whole time, and I know it's naive to say this because he's been my first ever relationship, but I can see this becoming long-term. Yes, we haven't hooked up yet because I told him I wasn't ready and he's never pressured me to do it. However, is his behavior something I should really be concerned about? Again, I don't have any experience with dating and relationships, so I don't know if this is something that is truly concerning. My friends are pushing for me to break up with John, but I'm not sure. How do I proceed with this? Paper. Okay, so we got to edit. Well, I took a break to work on a paper and now there are almost 1,000 comments. I'll try and do my best to process everything. Yes, John is a wonderful guy, has so far given me no reason to doubt Without his sincerity, it's only my friends who planted the seeds in my mind since they have all had experiences with dating and relationships. So the pressure kind of got to me. Thank you for your insight. Update! First off, I want to say thank you for everyone. Blah, 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 blah. It's been eye-opening. Great. To begin, many Redditors say that my high school friends are conniving, untrustworthy, and ableist people who never bothered learning ASL despite knowing me for a long time. But yo, that's a comment right there.
Hey, facts though. Your friends are being weird. Why is it weird that this guy's learning ASL to be closer to you and your family? Like what?
Like what? That's
It's like, dude, it's almost like he's like doing this to like create a closer bond with you so that your relationship continues to grow and blossom.
Crazy, bro.
It's like, dude, get away from him.
I take accountability for this. I'm not saying they're blameless, but it's not entirely their fault. For some context, our family moved out to our area when I was in senior year of high school due to my dad's job. The friend group, 2 guys, 2 girls before I joined, was already tight when I came in. Then they took me in after we got grouped together for a school project, and they've been with me since then. We've been friends for about 4 years now. Okay, it's not your friends, it's the close guy friend. He wants you and he's doing everything he can to get with you. They're not exactly saints, but they've helped me survive my senior year in one piece. They are fun to hang out with and they were the support I needed when I was struggling. Also during that time, my brother was having an especially hard time adjusting because of his disability, so my friends never really saw Trev a lot. To be clear, I was never ashamed of Trev. It's just that whenever my friends came over, he either locked himself in his room or was in a different area with his tutor and never really interacted with us. Whenever he does come out, he's really shy and awkward. So my friends mostly just get glimpses of him. Dude, and Trev's just happy to have a friend.
Yeah, dude.
God! What makes me more angry that you guys listen to other podcasts is that these friends will not connect with Trev.
Here's the ultimate conspiracy from Linda.
Go for it.
The boyfriend likes the brother.
By the time Trev became more comfortable in our area and found his own circle, my friends and I had already graduated from high school and really don't hang out regularly anymore. They're friendly and polite with Trev, but then again, they never interacted as much to the point of them actually needing to learn American Sign Language for him. Now, for last week, my friend group had our year-ender party, and I decided to bring John to meet the rest of my friends. My other friend in the group also brought his girlfriend, so it wasn't really weird. Others have done so in the past as well. I've commented in the previous post that John only had met my closest guy friend. I'll call him Mike, 21 Mel. So I wanted the rest of them to form their own opinions of John after they met him. Initially, there was some tension and awkwardness from my friend group towards John. They were a bit cold, and they were throwing some harsh remarks towards him. Even though they all warmed up to him and they were actually pleasantly surprised by his personality, we all got along well and we all even had fun in our games. However, I could tell that there was still awkward tension from Mike towards John and the rest of the group. He was throwing meaner jokes than usual, and he was kind of isolating himself from the activities. Mike, I called it. Mike. He was coming after John.
I see what you're doing, Mike.
The next day after the party, I had lunch with my closest friend. Let's call her Sophie, 21 female. To clear the air, because I could tell that they had also sensed something was off, a lot of Redditors speculated that Mike had a crush on me and was jealous of my relationship with John. Turns out, you're all 1,000% correct. Oh my gosh, but it was more complicated than I thought. Dude, I freaking call it. I freaking call it.
That's crazy.
However, he is known in our school as Notorious Ladies Man and had a new girl with him almost every month. This got exponentially worse during college. He had different hookups almost every night, and he even had a pregnancy scare with a girl last year. I knew about all of this because he bragged about sleeping around every time we met up. What I didn't know was that the entire time, Mike has been making up fake stories about me and him. Sophie told me that apparently Mike and I had a pact that if we were still both single when we're 30, we'd marry each other. Those aren't real.
Those are real. But it's 30 is too early.
30 is way too early. I did 50.
Yeah.
Okay, who's yours?
I have a couple actually.
I have one. It's Ronnie. Shout out Ronnie. If you know where, you're probably not watching. But if we're still both single, we'll get married.
So, although he told our friend group that we hooked up after graduation and that he took my V card, then, so he's my special person. Whatever that means. He's also told them that we've been secretly hooking up consistently throughout college. For context, Mike and I go to different universities that are just about 30 minutes away. Lastly, Mike told them that I said I'm in love with him. He told our friends not to tell me anything so I didn't get embarrassed or upset, since I have this image of him being somewhat of a prude. Mike also told our friend group that when he met John, that he thought John was a total jerk who has been manipulating me and taking advantage of my innocence and naivety. He said that John had been forcing himself onto my family and is driving a wedge between me and my friends.
Dude, this guy needs to go to jail. This is a level of lying that deserves like maybe just like a posse around. Like we gotta go round him up, and like everyone just like bah, 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 and then he never does this again.
Mike also said that after we had lunch with me and John, he tried to convince me to stay away from John because he's not a good influence on me, but John had effectively brainwashed me. This explains why my friend group was already so antagonistic towards John when I told them about him. For the record, none of what Mike said was true. There was no pact. We never hooked up, and I've never been in love with him. Lies, lies, lies.
Why did they all believe him so fast? They just so fast were like, what? Oh, we don't need that. Yeah, Mike is right. Look at how big my mouth is now.
After that, Sophie and I asked the rest of our friend group, except Mike, to jump on a FaceTime call with us. They all shared different versions of what Mike told them. There were a lot more, but I disputed everything. We were all collectively shocked about everything that we learned that day. They apologized for their behavior towards me and John, and I told them I understood given all the lies fed to them by Mike, and everyone agreed to kick Mike off the friend group. Sophie suggested that maybe we could have an intervention for Mike first, but I said that I didn't want anything to do with him anymore. The rest of the friend group agreed, so we are essentially cutting him off. Sophie said she would still talk to him just to inform him of everything that happened, but I really just wanted to distance myself from her.
He needs to be exiled.
Yes!
Mike needs to go to prison.
Get out of here.
Unlawful deception, 25,000 years jail.
Anyways, now it's been a week of being Mike free. Sophie said that when she and our other guy friend talked to Mike, he became extremely defensive, confrontational, and aggressive. He wasn't physically violent, but he called them names, attacked their characters, and made such awful statements about everyone in our friend group that I won't include here anymore. It looks like cutting him off completely was the right call. Now for some more uplifting updates. After reading everyone's comments in my previous post, there were a lot. I reflected on my relationship with John and my friends. I then talked to my parents for advice, since they have the best relationship that I know of. They told me from what they saw of John when he visited our home and how I spoke of him, it seems like he's legitimately a nice person with pure intentions. It also helps that John and I have been friends for months before we started dating. So I already knew his character even when there was less pretense of him trying to impress me. He's already impressed me on his own, though. LOL. I then told John about everything that happened and apologized, fully expecting him to be mad at me for doubting him and his intentions. Instead, he understood. Because of course, it was just natural for me to trust my friends and expect them to have my best interests in mind. He then asked me if there was any point in our relationship where I felt uncomfortable or uneasy around him, and I categorically said no. I told him that he's my safe space and that he has nothing to worry about. He then reassured me that his intentions with me are genuine, and he even said that he sees a future with me, which I reciprocated. First love. First true love.
That's cute. That's a cute thing.
Also, John and Trev's friendship is going strong. Trev has participated in one of John's D&D sessions with his friends, and John and I both acted as translators. We were delighted to see that most of John's friends already know the ASL alphabet.
W
Right.
friends.
Wow.
W friends.
Apparently, they have even included it in the lore of their D&D. Also, Trev had been asking John some tips for working out and getting fit lately since they have the same body type, but John is more toned. One of his brothers is a fitness instructor. Also, I met John's family for the first time for their annual get-together. It was super fun. There were games, contests, and also, I wasn't prepared for it, but apparently, since their mom is a theater performer and their dad is a music producer, it was their family tradition to have a talent showcase. And by the way, if you want to see some more of this extreme talent, all you got to do is go to where, Dakota?
Okay, story time.
On your favorite podcast platform, just search up OK Storytime, and there you will see the talent that we are here. You just saw a little bit of it. We got better talent on there. Don't you guys worry. Anyways, I love this. I really hope, you know what, guys? I really hope that this isn't just like a first love thing and that this actually goes on.
I think it will. I'm gonna confidently say that they will last forever until the heat death of the universe.
Forever.
They gave me a pass this time, but told me I should prepare something impressive for next year. LOL. John and his brothers performed Bye 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 NCYNC in full Deadpool, Wolverine, and Captain America costumes, while his sisters and their husbands did Defying Gravity from Wicked. Oh wow, this was very recent. That's crazy. Their parents did a melody from The Sound of Music. It was a total blast, and I felt their family's warm welcome, and they really treated me as one of their own. I could see where John got his good values and looks from, though I think I need to start taking voice and dance lessons to keep up with them. LOL. So that's it for the update. My relationship with John is stronger than ever, and I finally know who my true friends are. If you made it this far, thank you so much for your time. Happy New Year to all of us. Happy New Year. Relevant comment. OP added this as a reply to a deleted comment. Not gonna lie, I became more and more furious with every line that Sophie and my friends told me Mike had done and said about me. Felt like an episode of Black Mirror or some psychological thriller or something, because all this time, my friend group apparently had this different image of me based on lies. I've also told my parents about Mike. They knew him pretty well too, and they said they knew from the start that he was up to no good. I was just too bratty to listen to them, and they warned me back then. Right now, I'm just glad that this is all behind me. I'm also really grateful that I found a wonderful man in John, who had been extremely loving and understanding throughout this all. Blonde Boba Fett says, by the way, Mike probably lied about others too. Any stories you've heard are likely lies, and you should think back if there are any other women who might have been impacted by his falsehoods. I've definitely had guys lie about hooking up. It's more common than I realized. OP says, my friend group and I compared notes, and we've uncovered a lot more lies than Mike has told about himself and each of us. He apparently caused a lot of petty drama throughout the years. We're still not done processing everything because we're all just shocked and dumbfounded, and it made us reevaluate everything. Peter Pat 64 says, don't let your friends off the hook. They chose to believe Mike without bothering or confirming anything with you.
Exactly. Those people suck.
Okay, yeah, during my lunch with Sophie, where we had a FaceTime call with our friends, I confronted them as well on why no one bothered confirming anything to me. They apologized for everything. Then I also understood why it was so easy for everyone to believe Mike's lies. Our group dynamic has always been that I am closest to Mike. We live just 10 minutes away from each other, then Sophie, then the rest of the group. However, the four of them have been friends with each other for like 5 years before I came in. Before Mike became a ladies' man in high school, he was always a smart kid who always either first or second in class. Despite his personality, he was still a very credible person in our eyes. Add to that the number of years they've known each other, and that's why they blindly trusted him about everything he said about me. That is the end of that story, everyone. Wow.
Wow. Can we all hit a wow? Wow.
My homophobic brother wants to reconcile. I refuse. Bye. I'm 19 male. My brother is 21 and is my only sibling. I realized I was gay from a young age and came out at 14. My parents were supportive from the get-go, but my brother was absolutely not. He tried telling me I wasn't, or that I was trying to get attention, and tried to get me to change my mind. By the way, this comes from Throw It Away on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So when that failed, he called me a freak, diseased, and said I was going to HE double hockey sticks, even though we aren't that religious, and made it clear he didn't want a relationship with me. He outed me at school.
Oh.
My friends already knew, though, thankfully, and tried to get others to join in, but no one really cared. Nothing much changed. Okay.
Oh, thank God.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Dude, if they went to your high school, bro.
Bro, I remember the first openly gay kid at my school.
Needless to say, I vowed to limit contact with him as much as possible, but the comments continued until we moved out and he turned 18 for school. I've since gotten into a great school and have completed a year and a half. I'm in a relationship, my grades are the best they've ever been, and everything seems to have fallen nicely into place. My brother sent me a Facebook message back in August. He started by apologizing for how he treated me, saying he was depressed before and was stuck inside his own head / fell into the wrong crowd online that reinforces bitterness towards others. He said he got in treatment for his depression, feels more confident than he has in years, and was on the upswing and wanted to meet up to repair our relationship. He said he was proud of me for being gay and supported me, and apologized for taking so long to make it known. I didn't respond, nor did I respond to his happy birthday message in September. Then he started texting me saying he understands if I'm still hurt, but he'd love nothing more than to make up for the hurt he caused. I haven't responded to these either. Here's where my boyfriend says I'm the a-hole. Over the holidays, we were all back at my parents' house. I had a great time seeing my family, except him. Each time he'd ask about me or try to talk to me, I'd give him one-word answers or clam up. He offered to get me a game for me as a gift, but I declined. He pulled me aside to apologize face-to-face, reiterating the stuff he said before, but I also cut that short and walked away. Meanwhile, I talked with my parents like normal and was very open with them about the things happening in my life, typically within earshot of him. The day we left, I said goodbye and found him by my car crying. He says he understands why I'm closed off to him and that he regrets how it turned out, wished me well, and went inside. I told my boyfriend about this when I got back, and he's pissed, and he called me an a-hole. Boyfriend says it's clear my brother feels badly about how he used to be, and he's changed into, and to throw all that back in his face is a wiener move. My parents agree and say he's a good person, but ultimately feels it's up to us. Personally, I've gotten used to the idea of not having a brother, that I don't know if there's anything left to salvage. He's made his choice to sabotage me then. Is it really my problem he regrets his actions now? And we got to edit. Am I the a-hole?
I think that this is a good reminder for people that are hateful, spreading vitriol, not being loving, supporting, and understanding. Even if you might not understand someone, still loving them and embracing them, you know?
Yeah.
If you decide one day, you know, down the line, like, oh, no, I was wrong, that doesn't mean you automatically get to repair the relationship. The pain and traumas that you give to someone don't just magically get erased if you apologize.
Edit. So my boyfriend just texted and said that how I handled this thing has him questioning things, and he thinks we should take a step back for a while. So that's cool.
Oh.
Whoa.
Wow.
Update, April 5th, 3 months later. So it's been a few months since my first post, and since a few people were asking, I thought I owe you an update. I would have provided one sooner, but this throwaway I had logged out earlier, blah, 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 blah. The TLDR of the post was I had ignored my brother's attempts to have a relationship with me after the homophobic crap he threw at me when we were younger. I'm glad to say that's no longer the case. A little after my last post, I texted him that I appreciate his words, but his actions had really hurt me and that I needed time. Okay. He texted back he understood and to take as much time as I needed. He also thanked me for reaching back out to him. I spent a lot of January and February in self-reflection and trying to figure out what I needed. Lots of people in the last post said I needed therapy, and I agree. I likely did. I never ended up seeing a professional, but I got really into some guided meditation and calming exercises I saw on YouTube, making it a habit if it helped me realize how much weight I was carrying and has helped me start to let that weight down. I still have some ways to go, but I feel like my empathy growing and I like that. I went home for spring break and saw my brother for the first time since Christmas. Long story short, we spent a lot of time hanging out and our relationship is recovering.
Okay.
All right. That's awesome.
We're total 180.
Holy cow. We've had some hard conversations, cried, shared a couple joints, etc. And I came home away from the break feeling so much better about everything. Dang, because he probably had a lot of pent up emotions too against his brother.
Like OP said, OP realized through his meditations and being able to think about it, it's like, oh, this is weighing me down.
Yeah.
Which makes perfect sense. The fact that he was giving him this just complete silent treatment out of the anger. Yep. So it's this is hopefully helping him let go of that anger.
And 100% building up too.
And building up.
You're like, this is not who I am, but you deserve this.
And since each of our schools have closed down due to the pandemic, we're both at home and doing our classes remotely and hanging out on the downtown. Because this happened during the Panty Pan Pan. I want to thank those of you who said I'd probably regret cutting him out because I can tell you were right. My brother isn't perfect and did many things to purposely hurt me, but people can change if they want to. And he did. I wouldn't want to be judged by my lowest point, and I'm working on not judging him by his. I finally have a brother back, and forgiving him has helped me feel a lot better in ways I didn't realize I needed. Thank you. To answer some common questions, no, my boyfriend from the original post and I are no longer together, but for separate reasons unrelated to the original post. We just wanted different things and we are at different stages of our life, but it was parting with minimal hard feelings. I don't consider his reaction to be manipulative. It wasn't a hard do this or we're through. Why did my brother do it? There's no one reason. He was in a dark place and dealing with a lot of issues in a bad way. He was ignorant about a lot of LGBT stuff and relied on that ignorance when it came to me. It took a while and going off to college / meeting new people for him to begin questioning a lot of what he believed. And since getting help for his unresolved issues, it was a step-by-step process until he saw how wrong he was. He said he didn't even realize how what he was doing was hurtful a lot of the time because he was so in his own head and had some really bad influences on the internet reinforcing his mindset. I can understand that, and I love how far he's come.
I'm really liking this story.
Yeah.
I'm really liking this story.
Why didn't our parents intervene even though they always had my back? They did a lot of the time, but most of what he said / did wasn't in their presence, and I was not going to be the one running to them each time I was a victim of something. They are good people, and I hold no animosity towards what they might have done instead. And what you can do every weekday at 3 p.m. PST is tap our profile because we go live.
Yeah, it's a great example of like, you know, we don't get a lot of stories where someone who's like super like, I'm not gonna talk to them, just like stonewalling them, right? And to be like, it was a weight I was carrying. It was anger I was carrying.
Yeah.
I was able to let that go. I was able to, because to your point, Riley, it's like there's also the parents that you have to consider in this who are innocent because they were super accepting of OP and they're trying to like, you know, and they know that the brother has, it would be one thing if the brother was still like so a raging homophobe, but now he's like, they know that he's like come around the corner. So he's like, hey, he's come around the corner now. So you're almost in a way like, or the parents are just catching some shrapnel if you can continue to do that. So yeah, just really nice to see OP come around and the forgiveness bring them together.
I like the parents, how they let the brothers handle it. And they didn't force it upon anyone. They're like, you guys are adults. We're not going to force it down your throats. We're not going to take sides. Do what you need to do. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
I'm thinking about showing my brother this and the previous thread so he has a better understanding of how I felt about this and may update on later how it goes. Also, I just want to say to others out there who they feel they've been repeatedly wronged by someone to the point where they want to cut them off, that I know exactly how you feel. But the fact is, people can change if they want to. And even if they do, you're under no obligation to welcome them back into your life. But if you can find it in your heart, I'd strongly encourage you to give them a fair shot at doing so. People do effed up things sometimes, many things, or for many years before they realize it and feel remorse. We're only human. That's a great message.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And love the like message of forgiveness and, you know, giving someone a chance and that person living up to it.
Yeah.
My in-laws are pressuring me to meet my brother-in-law's affair partner. I refused.
Yeah. Why would you want to meet an affair partner?
I, 37 female, have been with my husband, Daniel, 37 male, for 16 years. Daniel has a younger brother, 35. Let's call him James. James was married until last year to Grace. It came out last year that James had been having an affair with a woman from work for 3 years, unbeknownst to anyone in the family, and her name is Kelly, 35 female. By the way, this comes from user Professional Face 388. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, brother-in-law James and I have never been close. He was a cocky teenager when I met my husband, and he was rude to me. I stood up for myself, which he wasn't used to. The family just passed it off as James being James and let his rudeness slide. This has been an ongoing theme of enabling his bad behavior. Cut now to 2023. James reports he is having a mental health crisis and everyone is worried. It turns out that he's living with the guilt of having this affair with Kelly for the past 3 years.
Dang.
It's worth mentioning that Daniel and James's parents met the same way. They had an affair for 2 years before finally coming clean and starting a life together.
That is relevant information.
Dude, I gotta say, I'm never telling my kids that. If that happens, That's a secret shame that we carry
Why would
together. Are you serious? This story has been normalized within the family.
Oh, God.
James has a well-paying job in tech and seems to think he's better than everyone else. He seems to look down on Daniel and I, considering he thinks he's a very special and important person. He didn't do a single thing for his divorce. His parents handled everything for him, and he never spoke to his wife again after he confessed to the affair, even lying then that he and Kelly were not together anymore, which isn't true. So James is maybe a bit of a scumbag. Okay.
It seems like a lot of scumbags in the story.
He and Grace had been trying for a baby and having fertility tests for the last year of their marriage, even though he was cheating all that time with Kelly. He never went back to the house he shared with Grace. His parents did it all for him while he was on holiday with Kelly, disguised as a work trip. Dude.
This is terrible.
The scum doesn't seep far from the tepid pond that it spawns in.
It's freaking entrenched.
Jeez Louise.
Jeez Louise, man.
And they're accepting of him? I'm so
Yeah,
confused.
no, because they did it.
That's so crazy.
They're like,
That's my boy.
They're like that, you know.
That's my boy.
You know how it goes. If you can't, if you don't get it right in the first time.
Never let your girlfriend keep you from finding your wife.
Yeah, I guarantee you they said like, oh, boys will be boys. And I'm like...
It seems like their whole approach. Yeah, no, this is... A few months ago, we had invited James to our house along with Daniel and James's older sister and her teenage children. James tried to bring Kelly along without confirming this with anyone, let alone me, who had extended the invite to James in the first place, against my better judgment. I'm also heavily pregnant and have had a rough pregnancy, so found a weekend for hosting hard anyway. When I found out he had brought her along to a hotel with the intention of meeting us without telling anyone until the night before, I refused to meet her. Kelly is still married, living with her husband and 2 children, and has not told her family about her affair. What? What is going on? Who are these people?
Is there a sale on scumbags?
Oh my God.
Jeez.
Come on down to Dirty Dean's scumbag store. We got a big old sale. We got a whole family of scumbags. Or at least partial scumbags.
You can fit all sorts of things in these scumbags.
Yep, you can fit all the organs and blood.
Lies and deceit.
Hey, yeah, and also lies and deceit. I refuse to be complicit in the web of lies because I would not want someone to treat me that way. This hasn't been a one-night stand mistake. They've been having this affair since 2020, and her husband doesn't know. My phone starts blowing up with messages from Daniel and James's mom, saying I'm being unreasonable. I'm causing problems in the family. And Kelly's part of the family now, and I need to get over it. Mother-in-law even offered to pay for me to have therapy to accept this situation. I was livid. I was not raised that way, where this behavior is encouraged and enabled. Since then, things have been awkward in the family. I would quite happily never have anything to do with James ever again, but I know that's not going to be possible. Also, to say, James has never been faithful in any relationship he has ever been in. He gave his wife genital warts, lying that they were skin tags. He did bad things during intimacy without consent, and he talks down to people. He's arrogant, blah, blah, blah. He's been engaged before, and she caught him on swinging websites, having sent a noodle photo of her to another woman without his fiance's consent. Wow. Can we upgrade scumbag to irredeemable monster?
Like, go to jail.
Yeah, like actually committing crimes, going to jail, please.
Go to jail.
Go to jail, please. Thank you.
Ring, ring, ring. It's jail. We're here to pick you up.
Hey, you're going straight to jail. I just don't think he's a good person. Good instincts, OP.
What got you to there?
And I don't want to be forced into accepting what he has done and this new woman in his life whose poor husband still doesn't know what's been going on. Am I the a-hole for refusing to meet her? I said I would meet her once she is separated from her husband, and once he knows that she is with someone, even if they don't come clean about the affair, and standing my ground about this. Should I be more accepting like my in-laws, or are they being the strange ones in this scenario? There's an update.
You shouldn't even be around these people.
Yeah.
Like, cut them out of your life, dude. These are crazy people.
You being the a-hole in this situation would be the most absurd take anyone could ever have. You don't want to
Please.
support like home wrecking a family.
Please.
What is
get
bad
them
about
out.
that?
Please get them out of your life forever.
Just like James leaving a comment under here being like,
Yeah, you would totally be the a-hole, and don't ever do that.
And
only
don't tell
support
anyone's
James.
wife.
James sounds really cool and hot. Anyway, let's get into the update. I initially felt offended when people described Daniel as cowardly. But honestly, I think you're right. He had been the golden boy growing up, as he nearly passed away as a small child, and he was their miracle son who survived. James was always a more difficult temperament child. He was overweight and bullied at school, struggled academically, etc. So he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder that has now developed into what I feel are traits of narcissism. Daniel found it hard to stand up to James, but I'm proud of him for taking that step. He also stood up to their mom, telling her to leave me alone and drop it when she kept messaging me and trying to talk to me about it. Maybe it's too little too late, but I'm glad he's finally done it. I hope he continues to stand up to them, and I will support and encourage him to keep doing so. And to say that's too little too late, I don't know. To say it's too little too late and have never had a conversation or discussion about that behavior feels a little extra to me.
Yeah.
It's like these comments just made you realize, like, oh, I guess I do think that. And now you're like, I don't know, maybe he can come back. It's like,
Let's have one conversation.
yeah. Yes, have our own thoughts first before
Yeah.
people think for us. I'm genuinely worried about telling Kelly's husband, as I don't feel 100% confident that my involvement couldn't be traced. I only know his name and the county he lives in. I do not know his address, phone number, or email. If I could obtain those details and be totally certain it wouldn't be traced to me, then I would tell him. However, I know my husband would be devastated if I was caught doing so, as it would cut us off from the family completely. I wouldn't have an issue with being low or no contact, but I wouldn't want to hurt him like that. You may not agree with that, but that's the situation. And by the way, you have a situation where you can listen to full episodes with stories like this. Just go to iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen and search OK Storytime. And then the world is your oyster. So we do have a little bit more story left. Do you have any thoughts on the situation?
Lord, I think
I
you need
do.
to have a conversation with your husband and get on the same page, because if you're not on the same page, then the relationship is not going to work. And right now, it seems like you want to tell the truth to Rachel. What's her name? Yeah. Anyway, you should talk to your husband and figure out what he thinks, because if you completely disagree with his take on it, then maybe this relationship, won't work out in the long run. But you won't know until you talk to him.
Yeah, you should definitely be like, so would you support you cheating on me?
Yeah.
So why are we supporting your brother, home wrecking this woman's family?
I guarantee you the response would be like, it's different.
Different.
I don't know, man.
That's
It's
just how he is.
It's like,
yeah,
maybe don't just take that for what it is and be
Yeah.
like, I demand my family to have better morals if they want to see me. I don't know. You're ruining children.
There's children involved.
Exactly.
Everyone's involved, it seems like. But it seems like nobody's doing anything about it.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, not a person.
So some people have asked about why I'm so upset about this, and I'm not so sure there is one particular answer. I think I'm a very loyal person, so lies and cheating don't sit well with me. I've also had a very strong physical reaction to this as well. When I hear about them, my heart races and I feel like my blood is boiling. I feel angry and sick and sad all at once. I also think how I would feel if Daniel treated me this way, how I would feel taken for a fool with people going along with this. There's a sense of injustice that they aren't being held accountable for their actions. They aren't having to face any significant consequences of their actions at this time, and that feels wrong to me. And there are some comments here.
Yeah.
I mean, are you narking? I'm narking.
I'm narking.
I'm narking if I'm OP.
I'm absolutely narking. This is someone that, maybe I don't have a super close relationship to, but it is in my circle of, people that I know. I absolutely would feel a sense of responsibility to tell this, woman or this husband.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then if the family cuts off your husband for that, that's not on you. That's on them.
That's on
and
them.
if your
Great.
husband can't see that, then honestly, I
Then
don't
maybe that
know. He's
relationship
been
isn't- yeah,
brainwashed.
yeah.
And I don't know if you'd want to be with him.
Exactly.
In the wise words of Aaron Paul's character, Jesse, in Breaking Bad, he can't keep getting away with this.
He can't keep getting away with this.
You can't keep getting away with it.
We got some comments here. Stand by your morals. You don't say what your husband's stance is, but this is not your circus. It's your house. You don't have to invite the clowns in. OP replies, my husband is very much a peacemaker. He doesn't agree with James's choice, and he messaged him after that weekend to say his actions were out of order. He needs to understand that not everyone is going to be accepting, and also that he's not been a good brother. He has never stood up to him before, so I was so proud of him for doing that. He messaged rather than in person, as we don't live near each other, which suits me just fine. We did lose a pregnancy last year, and I was still recovering when I was packing up things at the in-laws that brother-in-law could harm himself with, as he was saying he wanted to do self-harm before he confessed to the affair. He didn't acknowledge our loss last year. He hasn't even asked my husband how we are, how the pregnancy is going, and in my eyes, he's just so selfish. He only talks about himself, and I'm glad my husband finally called him out on it. Another reply, laugh at James. He went running to mommy that you didn't want his married girlfriend at your house. He's a joke. Comment 2, I would be getting her husband's details and sending him an anonymous message with the full details of her affair and James's details and address and phone number. Okay, I don't know if I would do that part, but I would definitely be like, hey, your wife's cheating on you. That should be enough to keep that philandering family busy so they stop annoying me.
Philandering.
OP replied, I know his name and the area he lives in, but as brother-in-law works in tech and has lots of police friends, I would be worried it would be traced back to me. If I could find a fully anonymous way to do it, then I would. The ex-wife considered it, but once the divorce was through, she just wanted to be done with it all and have nothing to do with any of them. Smart woman. Comment 3, are you worried about your husband? It seems the whole family is built on lies, adultery, and betrayal. OP replies, I've had paranoid moments, as he's the only one in the family so far that hasn't done the dirty deed. His parents met through an affair. His brother has never been 100% faithful, and there was a rumor that the sister had a night with a man from work, but that's not been confirmed. I said to husband, I feel like I'm waiting for it to be my turn, but then he gets upset, which I understand, as he hasn't done anything to make me not trust him. But hold on.
He has, though, because it is obviously much more of a betrayal if he had cheated or like had been cheating on you or having an affair. But he's showing that he is okay with letting one happen.
Right.
That is also a testament of his morals and, you know, where his mind is.
Yeah, getting defensive about that and not understanding why she would think that is such a huge red flag to me.
Super.
In fact, it makes me think that maybe you are being adulterous.
It would be different if it was like the family was all cheating and he was like, yeah, my family is like, you know, a bunch of cheaters. I don't associate with them. Like, I don't know what they're up to. I've stopped talking to them. And it's like, if OP was mad about that and being like, oh, well, your family are cheaters, then you must be a cheater. It wouldn't make any sense. But here we have him actively associating, actively covering for them.
Yeah. And you've sent one text message to your brother being like, you know what? You're out of line.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, dude. Either way. I'm just emotional at the moment, being so close to having a baby.
You're not.
And that was the end of that story.
What?
That is the end of that story.
Yeah,
I mean, huge red flag that the husband doesn't immediately go, I know what that looks like, and I can understand why you'd be concerned, but you have nothing to worry about. Instead, he's like, how dare you say that about me?
You're accusing me now?
It's like,
oh, now I'm the bad guy? Yes.
My guy. You're
the bad guy.
I mean, you got to give me something.
If the scumbag fits on your shoulder.
You had it? I knew you were going somewhere with that. But then...
Well, I was going to say the shoe fits, but then I was like, scumbag.
If the scum fits.
I don't know. I'm just workshopping things, throwing things at the wall, see what sticks.
Throwing some spaghetti at the wall, seeing if it's al dente.
Yeah, exactly.
My brother's girlfriend is harassing my family, so I'm pressing charges.
Press those charges.
So, trigger warning, mention of miscarriage. The people in this situation of mine, aside from myself, are my husband, Mark, 35, my brothers, Owen, 29, Jack, 28, Kyle, 27, Rob, 27, and Finn, 26. This is too many people. Whiteboard.
Too many. Oh, whiteboard.
Along with my best friend Margot, 32, Owen's fiance Trish, 29, Kyle's partner Ro, 28, and Finn's new serious girlfriend Annie, 23. By the way, this comes from Exciting Muffin, 9029 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, for additional context, I was the parentified sister and basically raised my brothers. I helped them learn how to cook and clean, helped them with homework, took them to extracurriculars, helped them figure out scholarships, trade school, colleges, and basically made them into the men they are today. My brothers are very aware of the situation that I was having to take on parental duties and thus do not treat me like one. I am their sister and they treat me as such, which of course means having a few crazy sibling traditions, which is where my situation stems from. I, 30 female, just had my birthday pass. I think it's just the birthday has passed, not a birthday pass. I can do whatever I want.
Do whatever I want on my birthday. Those are the rules.
It's my birthday. I can light a car on fire because it's my birthday.
Guys, my birthday's coming up.
That means I can commit armed robbery. That means I can avoid the draft.
Our birthday.
Mark decided to help Owen organize a celebration dinner. Since everybody had something to celebrate, Owen just engaged Trish. Jack got a huge pay raise. Kyle started an online shop. Rob bought his first house. It's a motorhome. And Finn just started his first serious relationship. So Owen organized a huge dinner party at a pretty fancy place with my brothers and husband, each planning to split the tab with Margot and omit me since it was technically my birthday and thus I shouldn't pay because you got a birthday pass. When you got a birthday pass, you do not pay.
You don't got to pay.
You don't got to pay. That's one thing I know. Fast forward to the dinner and we're seated in the back due to having so many people because it's a party. And everybody is having a great time laughing and sharing more information about their life when Margot has an old video pop up on her phone memories. It's a video of a birthday dinner when I was a teen. And it showed my brothers giving me my birthday bruises like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You may have heard of the concept of a birthday old 1-2s. Well, basically, it's the same concept. However, due to my brothers being massive hulks of meat and me being no more than 5'1", they opt to flick me instead, so I'll get a tiny bruise instead of looking like I was jumped. Rob decides to start with the birthday bruises tradition, each of my brothers opting to flick me 6 times, so this way I get an even 30 flicks, with Margot and Mark even giving me 2 for good luck. Did it look strange? Probably. But we already stood out in the restaurant since we had so many people, and it's not like we made a big show. I simply went around the table to each of my brothers to get my flicks. Trish and Rob were laughing, well aware of the familial situation, and it was all good fun. But I did notice Annie. Yeah, who's Annie?
Annie, I believe, is stepsister?
Annie.
Or like someone's girlfriend?
Oh, Kyle's partner, Ro.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's Ro and Rob. Annie. Annie is the serious girlfriend.
Yeah, serious girlfriend. Or sorry, not stepsister. I meant to say sister-in-law. Yeah, but not quite yet. Not quite sister-in-law yet.
New serious girlfriend.
Yes.
But I did notice Annie didn't really seem to be comfortable. Who's Annie?
Finn's new serious girlfriend.
Yep. So when she went to the bathroom, I decided to check on her. Old habits pass away hard. I didn't approach her until she was washing her hands and asked her, "Are you okay, Annie?" if everything was okay. And she simply sneered and said we were embarrassing and low class.
Who made you the queen of the world?
Yeah, all right. Turn your nose. I didn't know you were so unfun. Didn't know you were Queen
Little
Elizabeth.
Miss, I know best.
Honestly, like, yeah, she is very much a Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I mean, but Queen Elizabeth now, not Queen Elizabeth like
dead one.
Yeah, the dead one. That's how much you are the life of the party. You're just dead.
Yeah, you killed the party vibes.
You killed that party. Just like shout out to.
We were there.
We were there. We were there. We didn't do it.
We didn't do it.
But
we were there. I told her I didn't understand the attitude, that tonight was meant to be happy and we were just being ourselves. To be completely honest, my words were along the lines of, this is who we are. We're siblings. We hit each other. It's not that deep. She once again sneered and said, well, this is a place where it's not okay to be yourselves, with a mocking tone. She then stormed out of the bathroom, so I returned to the table. She was sulky the rest of the dinner, and when the bill came, she tried to drag Finn off. she kind of sucks.
Oh, wait.
Sorry,
so
that behavior sucks.
Is she trying to make it so Finn doesn't
Pay? I think so.
Because that's also really weird. We already know he gets a birthday pass.
Birthday pass.
Birthday pass. Finn doesn't get a birthday pass.
It's not his
and
birthday.
Certainly not Annie.
Huh.
Certainly not Annie.
Yeah.
Well,
not up in.
This started a little quarrel with my other brothers who all agreed beforehand to split the bill. Annie stepped in and said, I could pay for them since white trash makes do.
Whoa.
Those are
Where did this
fighting
come
words.
from?
Also,
Those are fighting words.
Also, really quick, to say that phrase in front of a bunch of people that you don't really know.
Also a bunch of people that you've
all
just
know
accused,
each other.
Well, that, yes. But also a bunch of people that you would just accuse of being like kind of violent and like
Yeah, exactly.
base.
Yeah, you're like if
So
you're
if you
accusing me
truly
of
think
violence,
that-
yeah, then you're about to have that violence brought down on you.
Yeah.
That is a wild thing to say. I mean, at least she has the confidence to speak her mind. Like, that's the silver lining I'm seeing here, but don't do that. Annie is trying to fight. That is true, Daisha Powell. This started a fight with Margot, who threw wine on her
Whoa.
and said, you want white trash? You got it.
See, that's what I'm saying. If you call someone white trash,
Expect them to act like white trash, which I guess is what Margot did. I tried to take control, but Annie was already trying to get on Margot, which is, I don't know, Annie, kind of a trashy thing to do. Ro and Trish took her outside, and the rest of us settled the bill and apologized for the disturbance to staff. When we left, we saw Annie swinging at Trish with Ro trying to get in between. I immediately stepped in and told Annie to leave. You need to leave. That until she apologizes that she wasn't allowed at any family gatherings, and told Finn that if she ever tries anything to call us immediately. Finn said that wouldn't be a problem and broke up with her right then and there, telling her to call a cab.
Nice.
Boom. Boom. Family comes first. Who,
Yeah.
who? Yeah, so if anyone did that to you, boom,
Yeah, boom.
done, instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Pow.
You come at my sister, I break up with you right then and there.
See, I wouldn't be throwing hands because I'm a pacifist.
Yeah.
And a
She's
conscientious objector.
Let the record show.
Let the record show.
That I have
would
said
not
before there was a draft,
throw
I'm a
hands.
conscientious objector. You know what? I'm going to also say I am also a conscientious objector.
Yeah, I mean, you are.
I am. When have I ever thrown hands?
I don't think you ever have.
No, I've wrestled.
Yeah, but that was like part of the. That was like professional.
Professionally? No. I did break up a few. I used force to break up a few fights in Australia.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, who?
I had to rip one of my friends off of this guy who was kind of being really creepy and laying hands on one of the girls in our group. Yeah. Yikes.
Well, anyway, Sam's a conscientious.
I'm a
objector.
conscientious
You can't
objector.
draft
I
him.
only use force to end force.
I don't think that. If that's what you saw.
I think that's war, actually.
Yeah, no,
Unfortunately, that is.
I mean, I never use force.
That is literally what
I
the
never-
government says for every war, I think.
Well, he was apparently very upset to be called white trash and didn't like how she talked to me. He also later said she looks like she would accuse me of something and that she apparently has done that to her ex. Ooh. That is not a good look, my friend. The problem I am currently dealing with is Annie's social circle. Annie comes from a pretty affluent part of our community,
Yeah,
like
so
went
she's
to a
so snap-
private school and had a personal chef and nanny kind of rich. Her and a bunch of her wealthy friends have tried to defame me, sending emails to my boss and coworkers. I told them to reply that they would be forwarding the email to me, and I will sue for intimidation and defamation if she continues to do so to me or any of my family members. The emails haven't bothered most of my coworkers, but I have a select dozen that already didn't like me and now are using this to make my work life hell. Why does Annie suck so much?
So much.
So much.
Annie, why you suck so much?
Yeah, this is a little whack. It's a little whack.
Yeah. It's just like so funny that Annie, the person who like
It's like, oh, I'm so classy, is doing the
yeah,
least classy
like
thing.
she's getting into physical fights. She's this is not what I would define as classy.
Yeah. Harassment ain't classy, girl.
It ain't classy.
Ain't classy. Sassy.
Yeah, but I wasn't gonna say it.
Is that a swear?
Yeah.
Sassy?
Oh.
Yeah, the S was silent. Well, I've already spoken to my bosses about it, and they are monitoring those coworker emails to assure Annie isn't sending anything. Margot told me I should go ahead with my threat the next time someone gets an email and file defamation charges along with intimidation and emotional damages. The thing is, Annie is 23. She's barely out of school, and this will wreck her life.
Okay.
Maybe she needs...
I'm sorry, I'm not getting into physical fights at 23, so...
Yeah, 23 is old enough to know better.
Yeah, she's got to learn the day. Yeah.
Also, barely out of school.
Yeah.
2 years.
I know she's attempting to wreck mine, but I can't help but feel like taking her to court is excessive. Am I being too nice? Would I be the a-hole if I follow through and press charges? What do we think, Sophia? Is OP the a-hole for following through and pressing charges?
The thing is that I think you would only be the a-hole if you lied about things or exaggerated things, and then she went to court and went to jail for that. If she goes, there is no, right now, we don't know for certain that she would go, have a record or anything.
Yeah.
If you go press charges, and if she does get a record, or if anything changes that ruins her life, it's
like
her fault.
Her actions have consequences.
Your actions have consequences.
I do think that, so like we've read stories. I think there was a story about like a 13-year-old who stole this guy's bike, and then
I remember that story.
You remember that story? And then the guy was like super vindictive, and he's like,
Yeah.
I'm making sure this kid goes to jail.
And I remember I said that seems intense for a 13-year-old, and everyone got mad at me.
Yeah, but I feel like yes, make sure the kid has consequences, but I don't know if they
13.
necessarily need to be super intense. What this person is doing is it's consistent
Also, there's no way
harassment.
that she would get jail time.
I don't know if
for
she would get
this.
jail time, but it's consistent. It's consistent
Yes,
harassment.
Yeah, it's not like she attacked you in the parking lot one time or anything. Like the thing that she did first and then stopped.
Yeah.
She is continue to go after you.
Yeah, I think it would be one thing if it's like you sent one email and you're like, I'm getting the police on you, but this is too much, and it's affecting OP's mental health and potentially a career.
Yeah.
Like this is
And also, she totally ruined your birthday, so that's
yeah,
not cool.
and even if you were to go overboard, you have a birthday pass.
You have a birthday pass,
And I don't think you've used it
legally
yet.
Cannot
do anything.
do anything. 'Cause you have
So, in conclusion, OP, you are not the a-hole. I think if she's continue doing this, I think you should probably do something about it, because
I agree.
doesn't she have other stuff to do? Like,
Doesn't she have work?
yeah, or like a life?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Does she have a hobby?
But Reddit said not the a-hole, and we got some relevant comments. So OP on Annie being around family and how OP's brothers are well off. OP says, I think it's because she never has really been around the family. Finn has his own business and makes pretty good money for his age. He actually helped Kyle set up his shop and offered to co-sign Rob's loan for the motorhome. Rob was too stubborn to take it, though. Not many people would guess he's from a humble beginning, since he already paid off his condo and owns his cars. So all other people see, including Annie, are his money-lined pockets instead of a boy who could barely pass algebra. I love a come-up story. And Commenter 1 says, you're not going to wreck her life. You're going to rattle her chain, shake up her status quo. Who knows? Maybe it'll make her into a actual person. I say let fly, not the a-hole. We got an update. I agree.
I agree.
So, update. Woo. Firstly, I want to thank everybody in my prior post. I have the tendency to overthink, and it makes decisions like this incredibly hard. A lot has happened in the past 10 days, so I'll just give the events in order of happening. 2 days after my post went up, Margot's car got egged. Annie, what are you doing?
Annie, in this economy?
And this, yeah,
Girl,
dude,
you're
eggs
throwing
are
eggs
like
in this economy?
$1 a piece.
I bought 6 eggs and they were $6.
Actually,
Yes.
that's insane.
Yes.
Eggs are white round gold.
That's too many dollars for eggs, and you're just throwing them at the car.
I mean, she is well off. She's thrown organic eggs
got
over
egg
there.
money.
She's got egg
She's
money.
got chicken money.
She's got that chicken money. She and 2 of her neighbors caught the perpetrators on camera, and 2 of Annie's flying monkeys, which I am now calling them because someone in the OG post called them that, and I laughed so hard at the accuracy, were taken into custody. And boy, were these girls Rats. They sold out Annie in a heartbeat. I almost pitied the poor girl until I came out of work and found the words, "You deserved your miscarriage," spray painted on my car hood. Annie.
That's just full harassment.
Annie, did you not learn your lesson?
Annie, you are not okay.
Are you okay, Annie? Information: I suffered a miscarriage at the beginning of the year after one of my students, I work in a behavioral school, punted me down the stairwell. I had been trying to help another teacher, and there was a security guard also present, but the kid punted my shin. Nobody caught me in time. I was 6 months along while it happened and suffered it while at work. It was a whole scene with ambulance, admin staff, dresser staff. Meanwhile, I was bleeding and crying. I was given PTO for 2 weeks. By the time I returned to work, everybody knew. I got plenty of soft looks. Everybody made my food and tried to make me feel better. Even the ladies who didn't like me. I was just thankful summer vacation was coming up.
Did that kid get just expelled?
Well, I think it's a behavioral school, I believe. So it's like kids basically that are, their thing is just kicking people downstairs. Sorry, don't zoom in on me. Don't look at me. But I believe that is what those kind of schools are. But yeah,
That's
so
awful.
heartbreaking. And Annie's using that. Like she's using that as fuel.
Like, wow, you monster. And OP keeps saying like, oh, she's 23, she's 23. I'm like, 23.
Yeah.
Girl, what?
Yeah, you're 23. You are old enough. I took photos of the vandalism and presented it to my boss since the paint was still wet, which means there should be camera evidence. Annie's about to actually get some jail time. Like I think this is enough, right? I mean, this is enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They told me to sit tight and they would take care of it. After 30 minutes, my boss, one of the coworkers didn't like me, and 2 security officers came back. Turns out the coworker who didn't like me had fed Annie that information and was promptly fired on the spot after being forced to apologize to me.
Props.
Oh,
Props.
I mean, I just
the school
OP
system actually doing something.
Yeah, which this does not
always,
often
yeah.
happen. Double trouble, Annie. You're getting it next.
You're getting what you
You're
deserve.
getting it next. Also, really quick, what's Annie's home life like? Why is she acting out like
I feel
this?
like she's this rich girl, and her parents never
Cared.
care.
Oh, that's so sad. I feel like if you're rich, you should just spend more time with your kids. Like, why do you have
Dude,
kids?
If I was rich, I'd be like spending all of my time.
I would
delegate all my tasks, and I'd just like do all my hobbies.
And I would just look at that kid, and then I would make the kid believe in magic. Like my dad would like do magic tricks and
the thing with the
ping
washer,
ball.
what's it called, the washer?
Yeah.
Where he's
The
like,
ping
it will
pong ball
move
and
on
stuff.
its own.
If you really believe, yeah, dude. I would teach my kid piano and horseback
And chess. And be going hikes.
Yeah, and we go on. Yeah.
One of Angie's friends is like
Riley.
a baby. What's up? Hey,
What's up, Riles?
what's going on?
Nice to see ya.
Nice to see you guys too.
You're looking cute.
Thanks. I've been hitting my head with a keyboard trying to fix the upstairs computer all day.
Has it
That's
worked?
really defined your curls.
I had to thanks. Yeah, you can tell. You can see some keys in there. Angie has a friend that's a babysitter for like a rich family,
Mm-hmm.
and the rich family has like 2 babysitters. It's her and another woman, and the woman, like the mom, doesn't even work.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. Because I'm like, I would understand if you had a really busy job, but like if I
What does she
didn't
do
have-
all day?
Like, I would want to be like spending as much time as possible with my kids if I had the money to do so.
Yeah. I feel like the point of having
Yeah.
money and having kids is to
to-
see how you can spend more time with your kids.
Yeah.
And you had a friend that also worked with like rich people, right?
Me? Oh, no, Sam.
Remember, you told me a crazy story that they did. But didn't she babysit rich people, kids?
Which story are you?
The 15-year-olds.
Oh no, that was a family friend.
Family friend.
So like they come from like so my ex-girlfriend's family friend came from like one of the like the biggest like their family owned one of the biggest skincare companies. And that's where that story comes from.
Got it.
But yeah,
So I didn't know if there was like a similar vibe. If they're like, oh, let's just hire all these babysitters to watch my kids, and I don't have to parent.
Yeah.
Well, back to Annie.
Back to Annie. Are you okay? They also had security look through the parking lot footage and got the license plate on Annie's car, screeching out of the parking lot with her tossing a can of spray paint out the window and denting another car in the process.
So
and
she's
she's
gonna get
littering.
hit for littering too.
Oh.
Littering, double vandalism. Yoicks.
Police were called and the spray can was taken as evidence. I was advised to get a lawyer and press charges. Let's go. At this point, I decided to talk to a lawyer. So I looked at lawyers when I got home and consulted one the next day via virtual consultation. He offered to do the case pro bono as he had a bone to pick with Annie's mother. Not my business to tell, but whoa, was that story crazier than mine? We drafted all evidence into a compiled document and went through with pressing the charges for the damage to my car, as well as intimidation and emotional distress. Let me tell y'all, I was expecting there to be a blowout when this happened, but karma ate her up. Annie is about to get her comeuppance.
Ooh, Annie, watch out, girl.
Let's go. Apparently, Annie has more than just what she did to me. Coworker whose car she dented when she threw out the spray can was pressing charges.
Oh.
Margot was also pressing charges for emotional distress.
Oh.
Also turns out she has been going after my brothers,
Oh, Annie.
sending her flying monkeys. They were review bombing Kyle's shop. They slashed 3 tires on Rob's mobile home. She had even been sending complaints to Owen's boss
Annie.
through customer service lines, and she had stolen Jack's fence around his house. Who the S steals a fence?
How
Apparently,
did someone steal a fence?
the amounting charges finally caught Daddy's attention because he had everybody who was pressing charges come to one of his properties to talk it out. One of his properties. Hey, they about to get paid. Whoa.
Yup. She's been looking for Daddy's attention.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
He had paid her bail and was keeping her in close proximity to assure he didn't get into any more mischief. Margot said she would be bringing her lawyer and advise everybody else to do the same. So it was actually pretty funny watching Annie's face as we all pulled up with our lawyers, with the exception of Finn, who was just coming as a character witness and had a file of evidence all on his own. He'd been pestering him and blackmailing him and was ready to feed these absolutely danging evidences to the pack of lawyers who were attending. It's worth to note that I had not gotten to the spray paint removed, so when Annie's father saw it, you could see the boiling, quiet rage in his glare. Annie's father, who I will dub Hunter, also had his lawyer present. The sit-down lasted 2 days with all the lawyers going over the different charges and appropriate ways to punish them. My coworker was simply paid out with some extra financial compensation and a few coupons from Hunter's businesses. Jack was returned his fence and Hunter paid to have it reinstalled, repainted, and for a 10-year warranty. Jack still stayed as emotional support since Mark was away on business. All the false reviews were removed from Kyle's shop and Hunter paid for any lost revenue. That talk was done between Hunter and Kyle in private, so I don't know how much was paid. I feel like it should be 2-3 times what was lost,
Yeah. I mean, also,
Make
how
it and
did
then
she steal
some.
the fence?
I have no idea.
I don't understand.
Honestly, Annie feels a little crafty.
I agree.
Hunter also contacted Owen's boss, who apparently they went to school with, and set the record straight. Hunter also decided to pay for Trish and Owen's honeymoon as excess compensation. That just left Margot, Rob, and I. The lawyers, us 3, and Hunter agreed to culminate the charges into one case, and Hunter was able to wrangle the district attorney to come and strike a plea deal. I can't say much about that case since it's ongoing, but just know Annie will be paying for her crimes.
Literally.
Hunter offered to get me a new car. I had been driving the same car for 10 years, and I told him I'd settle for a used one. Why?
Dude, Hunter,
Get your bag, girl.
Dude, why are we not trying to get our money? If someone says I'll buy a new car for you and their daughter trashed your car and
Get
gave
your
you emotional
bag,
distress,
yeah.
get that car.
Hunter made a fuss saying, I didn't raise my daughter like this. This is all her mother. Like,
Ooh.
wow, this woman must be a demon if even her own husband throws her under the bus like that. So Hunter is taking me car shopping, Wifey is apparently pissed that Hunter isn't covering for their little princess, and Annie is getting her just desserts. Funny how money is indeed a very powerful thing, as Hunter even got the case to be moved to a priority list and thus proceedings will be sped up. To top everything off, Hunter said all the payouts will be coming out of Annie's inheritance.
Nice.
I feel like OP, I don't know why OP didn't take the bag, you know?
Well, no, she is.
Hmm.
He convinced her.
Yeah, but I feel like she should have been advocating for more of a bag.
Mm.
You know, it's like she's like, oh no, I'd like just get me a used car, like get a freaking, I don't know, like what's a nice car? A Maybach,
A BMW,
a BMW,
a Prius,
a Prius, but one of the new sleek ones. What's a good car, Riley? A Ferrari,
dude, a Ferrari, Lamborghini.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like OP doesn't want that. Too
I
showy.
honestly, she might get like a Ford Bronco.
Oh,
Feels
dude,
like that.
Ford Bronco. Ford Broncos are sick. Like a 1960s Ford Bronco.
Yeah.
And he has to pay for the maintenance because those things will break down.
If I had the opportunity to get any car that I wanted, I think it's Dev Patel. He bought this like old car, like really beautiful vintage car.
Yeah.
Found a guy to retrofit it to become an electric car for like $30,000 or something.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
would do
every
that.
car guy would be on like if Christian heard that, he would be like, "You're ruining the car."
Yeah, but I don't care about
But I
cars.
don't care. Yeah, a Lincoln Nautilus, a Porsche. Yeah, guys, what is your dream car? Sage Flower says, "I laughed." A Prius.
Priuses are a good car.
Which is why he was okay with giving out so much excess compensation. And God, Annie's face. I wish I could have photographed it. I have no issues updating once the proceedings are finished. I will make sure to keep a spare tab open just so I don't lose this throwaway. It seems to be a pretty happy ending for me. I didn't expect it to be solved in under 10 days, but Hunter is a very nice man. Maybe the Gen Zs shouldn't eat this rich guy. He's a good one. He even invited Mark, Tristan, Rowe out for drinks to discuss compensation for the scene at dinner too. Right now, I'm just relaxing on my sofa while Mark makes popcorn. We're about to binge some cartoons. We like spending our Sundays like that. Glad I was able to update you all. Thank you for your words of encouragement. I will be back one last time after the court proceedings and maybe another if my lord gives me permission to tell his story about Annie's mom. And we have an edit.
Woo!
We have an edit. I see a lot of people misinterpreting how these charges are being processed, and this is mostly in part to my poor wording, so allow me to clarify. Annie has a record, but Hunter always bailed her out. The cops advised me to lawyer up and press charges because Annie has a history of doing things like this and getting away with it. The process is still long, and the cops did collect evidence. It was due to Annie's familial name that makes things a lot quicker. Hunter is a tycoon of sorts, with many of his affiliations paying for Annie's lifestyle. He has a lot of fingers, a lot of pies, and thus holds a lot of power in her town. The sit-down was to minimize Annie's criminal charges to see what would be worth going to court for or not. This is why Owen, my coworker Kyle, and Jack got paid out. However, the charges from Rob, Margot, and I are still being processed. The DA was called after the sit-down. As I said in a comment, it is not uncommon for lawyers to sit with a perpetrator to find common ground. We all had to sign documents of the sit-down stating what was done and what was accomplished. From there, I don't have any idea, as I haven't heard from my lawyer about court dates. It will still take months for charges to go through and for us to go to court, even on the priority list. If there's any confusion, please comment, and I'll try to clear things up. And we got some relevant comments. OP are not leading a lawyer to press charges against Annie. OP respond, note, I was advised to lawyer up due to Annie's familial reputation, and Hunter actually had the DA come once all our cases has been compiled and organized. So like, I mean, if Hunter had not been so awesome and giving and like chill about this, he could have poured a bunch of money into his lawyers and probably made it very difficult for OP or anyone to get their bag.
Yeah, but
so you kind of need a lawyer for that. Yeah. He wanted to minimize Annie's criminal charges, hence the sit down to which he paid out my coworker Kyle, Owen, and Jack, and we all had to sign documents about the sit down and what we got out of it, which will be used in the court case as to prevent us from pursuing heftier sums. It isn't uncommon for lawyers to consult victims and perpetrators to try to find common ground. This is what the sit down was, and that is where that story ends. But we got another story for you coming right up.
Ooh-wee.
But wow, I'm glad Annie got her. I'm glad Annie got her comeuppance. And
Me too. And everyone else got what they deserved in terms of
Good
retribution.
Things. Yeah, retribution.
My brother's fiance is bullying my sister. I finally had enough. Get him out of there. You can't be a bully to my family. You hurt her. You hurt her. My brother's fiance, to say the least, is not a very nice person. They've been together for 2 years, recently got engaged, and seems to be set to get married. He loves her very much. I don't know why he's enamored with her, but she really has a cruel, self-absorbed person streak. By the way, this comes from Brothers Getting Married, and if you want to submit your own stories, then go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I don't know why, but she seems to direct a lot of vitriol towards our sister, putting her down, saying mean things. She always accuses her of being a liar, being dishonest and superficial, and trying to paint her as a bad person. My sister is very sweet and kind and the loveliest person I've ever met. I don't like the way that brother's fiance tries to cast her as a liar and a bad person. Our brother has done zilch in trying to stand up for our sister. He normally just either brushes it aside or takes his fiance's side. Naturally, this really upsets my sister and in turn upsets me. There are a number of issues and mean things in particular his fiance has said about our sister. I'll list a few of the main ones that really get to her on here. Brother's fiance always seems to have this opinion that our sister is a slut and she sleeps around a lot and tries to hide it. Our family is Catholic, though my brother and his fiance are not particularly religious at all. On the other hand, my sister and I are quite religious. My sister says that she believes in waiting till marriage before spicy sleep and claims to be a virgin. I believe in the same sentiment, and since that's what she says I believe her. I have no reason to doubt her or think that she's lying. My brother's fiance seems to never believe this and seems insistent on the fact that our sister is a liar, lying about being a virgin. She says things like, "No way a girl at the age of 23 is a virgin. And she went to college. No way she didn't sleep with a few guys." I know my sister is very religious and devout, so I have no reason to believe that she would lie about it or stray. And I hate the insinuation that she's a liar. It really upsets my sister because this is the main thing my brother's fiance is really adamant that she's lying about. I don't know why. I think maybe because of her own insecurity or something. It's made my sister cry more than a few times, and she sometimes insinuates that she's a liar to her face. She also says things about our sister, like the way she dresses definitely makes her look like a slut, and always says that her clothes are too slutty and revealing, etc., etc. She's awful, and also your brother is awful for not putting a stop to this. Yeah, that's not cool. If they always show too much skin or too much midriff or cleavage or whatever, she says all those things. I think it's absurd because a person's clothing is no reflection at all on their spicy related history. True. Maybe she just likes to wear that because she finds it comfortable. Or maybe who knows? I think it's ridiculous to say that just because she judges her clothing as revealing that she has slept with guys. But again, literally, why is it any of your business even if whether or not she slept with anyone? Right.
Like, mind your freaking business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Other times she says things like, nobody with front airbags that big could be a virgin. She's implying that just because she has large front airbags, she must sleep around a lot, or she must have gotten a lot of attention from guys at college, which made her sleep around. I don't even follow that logic. Once, she even accused her of having fake front airbags and having had implants, which is effing ridiculous. She says things like, if you want to wait till marriage, then why are you always wearing clothes that put your front airbags on display? She always gives her crap for that and attacks her for her views and makes her feel extremely self-conscious. So yeah, I think my brother's fiance is a horrible person. Every time I bring up her behavior with her, she'll either be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I wasn't trying to offend her. Or at best, she'll give a half-hearted apology and do the exact same crap later. My sister has had enough of it. She's cried more than a few times as a result, and if there's one thing I can't stand to see, it's my sister crying or upset. What's worst of all is that our big brother, who's supposed to defend us and look after us, never bothers to stick up for his own sister or rebuke his fiance for what she does. He gets angry if we say anything negative about her. Frankly, my sister and I are really tired of her and our brother's defense of her. We've already basically made our best effort to avoid spending any time with her, but we're also really offended by the way our brother has acted towards the whole situation. I really don't want to be in any situation where I seem accepting of the verbal and emotional abuse my sister has received. Are we justified in basically cutting him out of our lives and not going to the wedding? Or is that too extreme, and is there a better solution? And there is an update. Ooh. But what would our solutions be?
I think you're very valid in not wanting him or his fiance, really around you, because clearly he may not be saying these things, but he is letting his fiance say them and therefore is condoning that behavior.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. This is the person that's like the one person that would be able to say anything.
Exactly.
So,
and like, why would he even want to be with someone who acted like this?
Yeah, that's really disappointing.
Like, if I was with a partner who kept, saying horrible things about my brother, I'd be like, bye.
Yeah, no,
Bye.
absolutely. But we do have an update. We have reached a decision.
Woo!
We are going to the wedding, but from then on, we're going to basically dissociate our lives from them, especially our future darling sister-in-law.
Fair.
I think that's a good thing. This family event is the wedding. Like, you got to go to the wedding.
It's like you had conversations with them. Like, this is not just
Right.
like cutting them off. It's like you've talked to them and you've brought up that this is making you uncomfortable, and your brother and your brother's fiance don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I've been talking about it with my sister. Apparently, this is an issue she's really felt sensitive about for a long time. As I mentioned, she's really religious and modest, so she hates the idea that she must be a salute because she has big front airbags. I tried to reassure her. I told her most of the girls that say that are really just jealous, but it seemed like it was deeper than that. She told me that even when she was in college, she knew that she would get a lot of unwanted attention. And before that, in school, because she developed early, she got a lot of hate from other girls. Basically, she said our future sister-in-law reminded her exactly of those girls who used to tease her for them at school and make her hate her own body. I told her that she has nothing to hate about her own body. She has a body that many women would unalive people for. It's the body God gave her. She's beautiful and amazing, and she should never be ashamed of who she is.
Aww.
All this time, I thought it was just sister-in-law who's the problem, but it seems the problem lies a lot with my sister's perception of herself, and it's been long-standing. The issues with our brother and what his fiance has been saying are just bringing all of that up to the surface. I told her if the problem isn't really with the fiance, then there's no reason that she can't go to the wedding. So she responded that she simply doesn't understand the fiance's obsession with belittling her, accusing her of being a liar, accusing her of being a salute, and basically shaming her for her front airbags and body. I had no idea how to respond. I hypothesized that maybe the fiance wasn't breastfed as a baby, and this is her way of taking out her anger. My sister told me that comment was weird and really came out of nowhere, so okay. She was still pondering whether to go to the wedding or not. I suggested that maybe she could wear something really revealing that accentuated her figure just to mess with the fiance and mess with everyone. She was like, nah, that would be petty, and she didn't want to do anything vindictive to mess up sister-in-law's special day. Plus, that was a really unsettling comment coming from her little brother asking her to wear something revealing. I didn't know that. I thought they were sisters.
I thought they were sisters too. OP was a man the whole time.
OP was a man the whole time.
Sorry.
Whatever, I guess. It was a joke, but whatevs. So, anyway, I told my sister that we still had plenty of time to decide. Even if we didn't go, we could just send in our gifts for the wedding. But we'd have to explain to our parents our reasoning, and I figured we should be upfront about that. I told my sister it was her choice, and whatever her choice was, I'd be backing her up in it. At that point, I think she was leaning towards going. But then there was another pretty bad incident with our brother's fiance. I spoke to my brother, and I tried to have a heart-to-heart chat with him. I told him he probably wasn't as aware as he should be, but some of the stuff his fiance has said to our sister has been really bad and hurtful, including some of the insinuations. I said, however, it wasn't too late to make amends. A fresh start could still be in the works. He said he understood and he'd have a word with her and try to talk her into being nicer to our sister from now on, and maybe even an apology. It was really weird after that. His fiance came and showed up at our house one day when it was just me, my sister, and our mother around.
She didn't even have a reason. She just seemed to be dropping by for the purpose of showing up and was trying to be nice to everyone. She was being especially forced nice to my sister. She was like, you know, I probably haven't said this, but I know you've been a great help to all of us in setting everything up. I know you'll absolutely look stunning when you come to our wedding, and I can't wait to go to yours as well. It was a really nice and sweet thing for her to say, and my sister really appreciated it. They started talking and chatting about other things and seemed to be really getting along. Our brother then got home and joined in the mix. He was like, glad to see you all getting along. And after our brother walked away, his fiance again stirred up trouble. She told my sister that some of the things she had said to her had been taken the wrong way. My sister was very humble about it and was all like, no, not at all. You know me, always getting worked up and overreacting to things. It's not your fault. Fiance was then like, good, and asked her to not wear anything revealing to the wedding.
This is why you shouldn't have let her off the hook.
Come on. My sister said, what do you mean? She said she knows she normally likes to wear revealing clothes and she doesn't judge her, but it's not appropriate for a wedding. My sister said sorry and okay, but then she snapped back and insisted that she never does wear revealing clothes. Fiance was like, ugh, not this again. And then went again into complaining about what she wears and implying she slept with a lot of guys. She was like, yeah, okay, I believe you, in a sarcastic way. My sister got really angry and flustered and said to her, I've literally never had spicy sleep with anyone. And the fiance just flat out and in a really rude tone said, I don't believe you. Oh my gosh.
If someone's awful to you,
yeah,
and then apologizes, don't go, oh no, it was nothing. Like, be like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That was not okay behavior, and I'm glad you recognize that.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even need to be like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. No, just say thanks.
Do not let
thank
people
you for
off the hook for hurting you. No. Say thank you for apologizing. It hurt me. I appreciate that you recognize that.
Just say thank you. That's it. I told her what the F was her problem. I said to her face that she's a terrible person and that she's just coming into our house and accusing my sister of being a liar and a sleut and that she should get the F out. She's not welcome here anymore. Boom. Woo. Get her. Yeah. Woo. My sister tried to get me to back down, but I was pretty angry at that point. My brother came back at the opportune moment to try to calm everyone down. His fiance then turned to him and said, do you think what she's wearing now is a little inappropriate? And he just said, don't get me involved in this.
Dude, you are involved.
You are. This is your sister.
It's your sister and your fiance. You dumb. You're involved.
Come on. I told him he should be ashamed not sticking up for his sister and letting her get insulted like this. Then his fiance was like to me, oh, I bet you like the way she dresses. I've seen you look at her and how you're always trying to hug her from the front at every opportunity. You're gross. No wonder you're defending her. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I think I think she is actually jealous of the sister.
Yeah.
And I think that she has this weird thing of like, oh, my fiance or her brother is gonna like leave, is gonna be interested in her if she wears these.
Right.
She's got this weird like
with this like
totally
sister.
messed up,
dude.
Oh man, that's so icky.
That is crazy. I told her that she was being obscene and disgusting, and my brother was just like, okay, we're leaving.
Dude.
He turned to me and said, I'm very disappointed in you. I thought you were more mature than this. My sister was pretty shocked by the whole encounter and how quickly it escalated. It was pretty obvious now, if it wasn't before, that our brother's fiance hated her for God knows what reason and would never relent. We both agreed that that was it. No communication with her. No attendance at the wedding. If needed, we'll maintain relations with our brother in the future, but only if his wife isn't there. Our mother, who had overheard most of what happened, didn't express much, but she kind of acknowledged her disdain towards our brother's fiance. When our dad got back, she explained to him what happened. They both said that we have every right to hate her, but they would still prefer if we went along to the wedding as a final gesture, just for formality's sake in front of the extended family. I told them I'd do whatever my sister did, and she still hasn't decided. Talked it out with my sister. She was airing out all her frustrations and hatred towards our future sister-in-law. She's much more fierce in private than in front of other people when she's more modest. She told me how much she hated that exact type of person who had body shamed her for having large front airbags her entire life. No matter what she wears, if it's a sweater, a dress, or whatever, she's always the girl with big front airbags. The salute. She actually started crying a bit and was like, sometimes I wish I could just cut these things off. I told her not to do that. Not everyone will hate her for them or treat her negatively for them. I told her some guys might even like her more because of them, and that they might make her future husband very happy. The only worry was that they'll get more attention than her. She was like, again, that's weird and slightly disturbing. He's like he's trying to help you. You're the one who's bringing it up. You're like, I hate them. And he's like, no, like,
I think he's a little too comfortable. Like,
you know, definitely more comfortable talking about it than like she is. It sounds like.
Well, she sounds like she's pretty modest and like religious, and he's like, dude, like people are gonna love them for you know, love you
like
for
people
those.
love big bazongas.
Yeah, bazoing. And she's like, whoa,
she's like, we can't talk about this.
Stop it.
Which is valid, but he's just trying to help.
He's
I
trying
think
to
he's
help.
well intentioned.
Yeah.
But we just laughed about it. She told me how she was utterly disappointed with how our brother had acted. She told me that I was her favorite brother by far.
Easy.
Yeah.
It's not a high bar.
It's my favorite brother too.
Yeah.
And I'd always been her favorite. I can't actually express in words how good that felt to hear. It's not like I can tell my parents that, but I can tell you guys. It felt absolutely effing awesome to hear her say that I'm number one to her. But anyway, moving on. About the wedding, she still hasn't decided if she's going or not. She was contemplating going just as a formality, but she thought that her presence there would be a victory for our brother's fiance, and she might even use the opportunity to humiliate her or berate her in one of her cruel ways. I told her maybe if I could get a promise out of her that she wouldn't, or an apology, would she then come? And she said yes. So I said I'd talk to our brother about it one last time. And you know what I'm going to talk to you about one last time? Just kidding, I'm lying. We're going to bring it up so many more times than this. The fact that you can check out full episodes with more stories just like this one. Just go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Just search OK Storytime, and we'll be right there for you.
Right there
for you. But there is a little bit more into the story, but do we have any final comments before we...
Your brother sucks. Your brother's fiance sucks.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got each other. Stick with each other. Defend each other. And know that, you know, people are going to make awful comments about your sister's body. And like, or your sister should know this.
It's stupid.
And it's because they're jealous and they're hateful. And there's this awful purity culture that runs in a lot of areas of our society, especially religious ones.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, for religious people, know that, like, your whole doctrine is that God made your body perfectly.
Right.
So,
right.
There is nothing inherently sexual about a body.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it is a body.
You know your past. You know your own modesty and your actions and everything like that. So
you don't have to prove anything to anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. But there is a little bit more. I told him again our sister's feelings were really badly hurt, and a genuine apology from his fiance for everything would go a long way in mending our sister's hurt feeling. He said he'd see what he could do, but next I spoke to him, he said that it's not happening. However, again, we spoke to our parents, and they said that they would really appreciate if we did go, and we wouldn't have to speak to the bride or groom at all. We can just stay seated at our table for most of the night if we wanted to. My sister agreed to that, so we made the decision that we would go, but we would avoid the bride and groom the entire night. And after that, probably try to see as little of them as possible. And that is the end of that story.
Man.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
I think that they need an apology from the brother.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely. He is as culpable in this situation as the fiance is.
Yeah. Like this isn't just like, oh, the brother needs to get the fiance. No. They need to do that, yeah, but like also the brother.
Agreed.
And then if they do go to the wedding, I think the sister should go in a suit, and then OP should go in a very low cut dress.
Yes.
And then be like,
yes.
And be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
What are you talking about?
I don't know what's wrong with this.
It's nothing wrong. This is what I normally wear.
Yeah. Wait, you want to talk about how it's revealing? Huh?
My brother's ex-wife made a controversial article about him and it went viral?
Ooh, they say all press is good press, right?
You know how your Android homepage pulls articles it thinks you would like to read into a feed? Today, the robots brought me a very dubious present, an apparently popular article featuring my ex-sister-in-law's, let's call her Eve, from one of those Facebook-driven clickbait sites. The article is about my brother. By the way, this comes from really cool people, and if you want to submit your own story, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So I don't want to link it as it uses her real name and photos, but for context, it got 33,000 shares and a video that highlights the story, and it almost has 2 million views. It's meant to be a love story about her real profound struggle to leave her first husband, my brother, who we'll call Jim, to be with her current partner. She seems very happy with the new guy, which is great, but she felt the need to introduce the story by painting my brother as a fat-shaming, dream-crushing, emotionally harmful bastard. Oh, and she repeatedly returns to her misery as his wife as a refrain. Let's be clear, Jim's not a fat-shaming, dream-crushing, emotionally harmful disaster, and nothing in this article revealed anything worrying about him to me. I know more about the situation from both Jim and Eve than I honestly want to. Jim feels things very deeply, but stinks at talking about it. His big expressions of love usually involve kind acts he never mentions to anyone, and he hates spending money. Eve feels deeply too, but her approach clashed with his. She's always scaled the highs and lows of her life into public epics, and her big expressions of love usually involved big gifts. They got married very young. She walked out on him after 10 plus years. They're both much better off. He still blames himself for almost everything. The melodramatic article is pretty par for the course Eve, but as you might deduce from the above, Jim is profoundly a private person. He cares very much how others see him. I want to curl up and pass away just thinking about how much he would want to curl up and pass away reading this article. Jim and I weren't close growing up, but we are now, like a lot of siblings. We are simultaneously polar opposites and the same person. I act more like an Eve than Jim. Case in point, I'm asking about this on Reddit, but he and I can react to emotional situations in very similar ways. If something like this was out there about me, I would want to know, especially since real names and photos are involved in the article. He's not named, but it's a small town, and I would be devastated if my loved ones knew and didn't tell me. I live in another state. I have no idea if he knows about the story. Jim isn't a heavy Facebook user, but it's an important news source to a lot of his friends. My family has a bad habit of hiding things in order to theoretically protect loved ones from pain, so I can't really ask them. My personal impulse to tell him is at war with the family habit, and I generally don't know which is best for us. Help, kind strangers, and we got some relevant comments. But I remember whenever I had a video that went viral that like around 2 million views, my face was on it. Not a lot of people like said anything, but then I had a video that me and John did for his OK Raps, and it had 10 million views. And like 4 people out of nowhere hit me up and was like, dude, I just saw you on this video. This is crazy. So if it keeps getting viral.
But, you know, it's a matter of, it sounds like they were, like they said, it's like they were both better off. So it's just a matter of having the conversation with the people. It's relevant.
Flea Slayer, I think you should tell him you know that you saw the article, that you thought it was unfair to him, and ask if he's aware of it. If he does already know, he might appreciate a sympathetic ear. If he doesn't know, he will probably much prefer to find out from you than someone he isn't as close to, who might not choose their words carefully. Opie says, thank you very much. This is the way I'm going to go. I appreciate the advice on softening the blow while being honest. Arbotic, this seems outrageously far-fetched. Is your brother a British prince or something? How would Google even know to recommend some clickbait, obscure article about people in another state? Opie says, LOL, yeah, it's all a bit wild to me. She writes for the township paper sometimes, and usually I get those articles in my feed. Yesterday, another local paper featured her in one of those reverse parodies teachers have been doing because of quarantine, and I clicked on it. I assumed that's why Google decided to look for more stuff involving her. And Game Boy Path says, I don't want to link it as it uses real names. Is Jim's full name listed in the article? How easily could one deduce that the brother you personally know is Jim is the same person that this author, Eve, is talking about? I'm not a lawyer, but depending on the nature of her writing, it may be slander if her statements are both specific and falsifiable. Talk to a lawyer. But regardless of the illegalities if your understanding of the popularity of the article and Jim's social media network suggests either he, a friend, or a professional colleague could get a hold of this article and its contents, you should warn him. This could allow him to advance some notice of knowing about the article before someone whose opinion he cares about finds out. He can then prepare for any questions, concerns, or backlash he gets. But if you think it's not popular enough for that situation to happen, then it's up to you. OP says, thank you for the response. I should have clarified it contains the full names and photos of his ex and her new partner. But my brother is fortunately only referred to as the first husband. You wouldn't have to do much sleuthing to Google her name and find his form wedding announcements, etc. But it's not literally written in the article. Getting to the edit. Thank you all for the advice. I'm calling him tomorrow after recruiting a close friend who could be there in person at a socially safe distance to talk after, plus asking his wife to take the call with him. Some people have asked about the emotional abuse thing. I'm very, very confident about my understanding of our situation, but I'm not comfortable sharing all the gory details here. I removed a couple of my comments below. I feel like I said too much. I'm trying to avoid attacking Eve's character more than my explanations already do. Plus, avoid trying to prove my brother's innocence for people unwilling to take me at my word by dishing out even more stuff about his private life, especially since it's all out of context, to hopefully satisfy the curiosity a little bit without being too huge of an a-hole. The article and its content are part of a long documented pattern of Eve's choices in a variety of life areas. Jim has only had supportive, positive relationships outside this one and has since gotten remarried to an awesome woman who never hesitates to communicate openly in a healthy way. But people who do report abuse should always be heard and assumed to be honest, and their accusations should be seriously and fairly investigated. We got an update 1 week later.
Is a lawyer involved or not? I'm saying no. I'm saying no lawyer. I'm going to say that there's probably not enough there to make the case worth it. You know how long it's going to, it's going to cost so much. It's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to be drawn out. And it's going to bring more attention to whatever it is. It's like, I think at the end of the day, a situation like this, it's just going to blow over. It's going to go away on its own.
As a positive update, as there can be, my brother, aka Jim, and his wife, aka April, and I video chatted a couple of days ago. Long story short, they already knew. And he's toughing it out like a champ. They've been showered with support from all sides, which probably makes him more uncomfortable than ever, but he seems to at least appreciate the good intentions. We took a couple of minutes alone, and Jim seems more worried about the extra stress this inevitably puts on April than about himself, for better or worse. He told me he knows, and it's all bull, and it doesn't quite feel real. I flailed around trying to ask him to please call if that ever changes, since I can reality check with him from the era of Eve, the ex. I hope he would, though I'm not sure how realistic it is to expect that or assume that he wasn't just putting a rosy lens on for me. April was able to tell him first. One of Jim's friends called her soon after the article caught fire to check on them. She looked it up and talked to him right away. It's no one's first experience with Eve's choices, unfortunately. April's amazing, and there really couldn't be a better person to process this with him. And guys, we can process more stories with you. You go to your favorite freaking podcast app, search up OK Storytime right there. Dude, we got a lot of processing to do. We got a lot to catch up on. They ended the call because the kids were climbing like a jungle gym begging to play Lego, so they're already doing a great job helping him focus on things that matter. Thank you again for all your help, good Redditors. Edit, this isn't a parable about how poor and innocent men constantly have their lives ruined by horrible women through a random accusations of harmful act. That parable is a BS narrative concocted by cis straight men who don't know how to cope with company at the top of the hill. This has just happened to be the situation we are in. Needed to say that. Cheers.
Okay, but see, now I don't get that because they're like, that's not a thing, except it's the exact thing that this guy went through, but it doesn't happen. But it's like, we can say that things happen and that also people exaggerate sometimes.
Yeah, people exaggerate. Like, plus, you got to get clicks, dude.
This is exactly what happened to this guy.
Yeah.
This
doesn't happen to people.
But anyway, yeah, it's not like it's happening to every relationship, I think was the point of that edit. I like how this has turned out, I think. I am a fan of, it's like, hey, immediately he knew about it, had a support system around him, taking it easier, taking it breezier, trying to hang tough. That's all you can do, and it'll blow over. It will, at some point, go away. I think there were some good points made, though, about that if there was money made off of this article, theoretical or money made off of these videos that, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Depending on how much it is, it's like, it's probably not a lot, but like.
That's true.
It just depends.
That's the end of that story, though.
That's true.
And we're done.
That's it.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And see you tomorrow.